As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff Booner, Lukas, and we got a show today.
Here we go.
Hey, Pistons are battling right now to make the NBA Cup. We got Lions, Packers. We got Top 10 Tuesday. We got Josh Reynolds getting released.
He coming home?
Oh. Maybe he's the Rasheed Wallace, huh? Maybe he's the Rasheed.
It was
Wallace.
it was always Josh Reynolds. It was always Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
lots
no.
to get into today, fellas. Lots to get into. I got a pack shop. I'm excited. I'm fired up.
Hey, I'm ready to roll. Hey, the Pistons have a chance to go to the Pistons Cup, like the NBA Cup, is unbelievable. First of all, like the fact that and Jeff, I actually told you this off air before we started. I give credit to the Pistons. I've been very consistent with the Detroit Pistons. The only that I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was like a real person. I was like, who's over there? I've been consistent with them. I said, listen, they need a culture. I said JB was going to bring the culture. He did it in Cleveland. I was consistent, Jeff, with I thought it was going to take a little bit more time. You have the players, you have the young staff, you have the core. He's been able to do it quick, man. Like if there's a way he pulls off this, I know they're down. I've seen them down 20 and 30 this season and come back and win games. So like I'm not counting them out. Hey, this is a fun Pistons team to watch. I enjoy it.
Malik Beasley, Showtime.
Yeah,
Beasley over Cunningham any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Well, you know what? It's time to get fired up. We got
we
got a gritty squad, 35 wins. Hey, we're on our way.
How many are they at right now?
9.
That's not bad. That's not that bad.
I mean, 9. They were probably 75% of the season this time last year with 9 wins.
Yeah, I mean they had 14 total. They're almost at their total from last year.
It's almost wrapped up.
They're 5 away.
Hey, how many months are we into the season?
2?
Yeah.
Not even maybe.
Yeah.
That's 4.5. That's 4.5 per month. Come on now.
You got the Wizards. No win November. They didn't win in November. We won in November. Hey, improvement. Last year we didn't win in November.
Do you guys remember the stat last year where it was like the Pistons have won or the Lions in their 17-game season won more games than the Pistons, or like up to a certain point. It was like an insane stat. Like through these months, the Lions won more games.
It was
crazy.
I was shout out Honolulu Blues. I joined their show. They invited me on, and I think Nick mentioned how on Honolulu Blues on their Twitter they had a poll last year: who will win more games, Pistons or Lions? That was the discussion, and now it's Pistons or Red Wings. Where's shout out Gentry? That's where we're at right now. I'm fired up. It's a good.
Better watch out for Kuz though. About those Wizards. Kuz.
He did call the Pistons that team. He's like, it's hard to lose to that team, and they didn't win in November. The Wizards. So now you're that team, Kyle Kuzma. So congratulations.
It is, but I mean, at the end of the day, I get Pistons fans saying that to Kyle Kuzma. The Pistons were that team. Like they were that team.
But the irony of it, the reason why it just was dumb is because he's on the Wizards. If he was on the Lakers still or something, or some other team that's better, I get it. But
yeah,
bro, it's like you're on the the Wizards. What have they done? He has won a championship.
It's like the Giants.
I'm a Kuzma fan, by the way, so I'm not. There's no Kuzma slander around me. Me and him had the same coach growing up. His middle school coach was my high school coach. So there's no Kuzma slander. He used to come to Saginaw Valley and get open gym runs in. He's a legend, dude.
He's a bucket, I will say.
You taught him everything he knows, Boone.
I taught him a few things. I knew him before. I not personally know him, or he wasn't like, oh, it's Booner. But I would be in open gyms with him, talk to him when he was at Utah. I'd be like, what's up, brother?
You're Troy Vincent. Yours Troy Vincent.
Yeah, I gave him no tips. You guys just think about just a normal Booner walking up to Kyle Kuzma like a freshman in Utah or like a senior. You would come in the summer, and I would just walk up and be like, hey, it's Booner. He doesn't know who is this kid.
Boone, you're the guy that looks over and goes, that guy. he's going to be in the league one day. you called it. Like, that's an NBA player right there.
I do remember, like, I think it was his senior year at Utah or junior year. I think he might have left after his junior year, but his last year at Utah, he was at one of our open gyms. And my head coach came up to me and was like, or at Saginaw, I was like, that's a guy you need to watch. And I'm like, I know. I was like, I knew who he was because of my high school coach. I was like, I know who he is. And he's like, no, he's going to be an NBA dude. I'm like, okay, coach. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when he was at Utah at first, it wasn't like he's going to the league. It was nothing like that.
He's not having the greatest year, but it's okay. I mean, it's hard when you're in Washington. It's hard to have a good year there. But hey, it's been easy for the Lions to have a good year. They're having a great year. You know, number one, they're right now favorites to be the number one seed, favorites to win their division. I got some injury report updates. I saw Taylor Decker. We might have another game with Dan Skipper. I think we're gonna have another one with Dan Skipper. It stinks. And we might have a game without Taylor Decker, and you might have a game without DJ Reader. So that's Carlton Davis. I think will play for sure. He's back. He practiced, but DJ Reader's dealing with a shoulder injury. I don't know whether he's gonna play or they just rest him, and then you get how many days off to the Bills? It's like a week and 4 days.
You get like 7 plus. It's like 14, 15 days.
So if he doesn't play, he gets a whole another week and a half to like get healthier. So I don't know what the.
I think it's 10 days actually.
And yeah,
I don't know what the move with that would be, but if you don't have DJ and you don't have Taylor, that definitely stinks.
Especially with no Levi. Levi's out. Mekhi Wingo just got hurt.
Yep, so, he's out for the season.
Pat O'Connor, big 9'5".
I don't
a lot more reps.
Broderick. No,
Broderick finally, man. We've been waiting for that one.
For DJ Reader, Broderick Martinwood.
I don't know though with DJ Reader. Dan said day to day. He was supposed to be back today. So I don't know if they're just like, remember Frank last year, how they were just like just rest and it got to a point where we just knew. I wonder if that's like what his shoulder is. Because like yesterday or the day before, he was like, he's gonna be fine. And DJ said, I think DJ like was like, I'm gonna be good to go. So if like the player's saying it, you would think like he's like, I'm good. But I don't know.
I hope he'll practice. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see more. I really hope he can play. Obviously, a nose tackle need that shoulder. I mean, you're going to move 300-pound guys, so he needs that shoulder to be 80%, 90% healthy. Maybe 80 is probably more likely. I hope he can play. The game he's coming off of too. And I see this too. Midwest Kid, he did say also, he said, Midwest Kid in the chat, frustrating as Reader said he'd be good to go, hopefully hoping for a practice tomorrow. I think Reader did say after the game last week, he's like, I'll be good to go. But it's not all up to him. You know, it's up to the coaches. I hope he can play. But Malcolm Rodriguez out for the year. Already know that. They got a bunch of guys that are kind of dealing with injuries right now. But it stinks. It stinks. No, because if you have Dan Skipper, we're talking Rashawn Gary. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
not ideal, but they're gonna have to overcome that. That's why I do agree with you about this being an offensive game for sure.
I did hear something though in the Honolulu Blues. You were doing their show tonight. I can't remember if it might have been Adam who brought it up, or it might have been you, Jeff. It might have been you. I'm gonna give you some credit. It might have been you, brother. Just brought up though how Dan Skipper, like we know he's good in the run game. So like offensively, like it has to be an offensive game with the injuries. You have to be able to just be like, hey, if Dan Skipper's in versus Rashawn Gary, maybe we just try not to pass it as much. Like maybe Jared Goff only gets 20 something, like 20, 22 pass attempts.
Yep.
And you're just going, hey, let's pound the rock with D-Mont and Jahmyr Gibbs. Or if we're going to pass the ball, let's get quick passes behind Penei or quick screen passes or just quick Amon-Ra St. Brown quick hitters. Like that's where it seems like it's like without Taylor Decker, especially this week, you're able to get by a couple different weeks without Taylor Decker. But like this Green Bay defense is like they have some dudes, fellas.
They're humming.
Yeah, and they're playing well. So you do have to like the game plan has to be on point. And offensively, you're going to have to score a lot of points to win this game.
Do you think maybe there's a chance still in the year we get a little hutch? I mean,
talk to me. This video is unbelievable.
He posted this video talking to actually a fan of his that's been going through physical therapy, and he's showing off his physical therapy. And look at Hutch walking a little bit.
Woo!
Yeah.
Is there a chance? Is there a chance you get that Super Bowl appearance from Hutch and he just comes out the tunnel and he's just let's go, gets like 2.5 sacks? I don't know. I doubt it.
That's such a like you'd love to like see him out there, but if anything happens, I would hate to see Aiden Hutchinson have an injury that just derails him into the beginning of next season, and then he's got to play, he's got to get right back into game speed, and that's just where I think you could just see a case of an injury just kind of lingering for a player for a little while. So if Hutch can somehow play, great, but for long term, I think Hutch should just sit this out. The way that this offense has been playing, the way that Aaron Glenn's been able to get these players to consistently step up. It's not like there's no need for Aiden Hutchinson, but I think the way that they're playing right now, they can go win a Super Bowl. So we talk about this Lions team. It's an open window. They like this window is open for the foreseeable future outside of a major injury to happen to Jared Goff or someone of that status, knock on wood. If you have Aiden Hutchinson during that window playing at Aiden Hutchinson level, it's going to be even better. So I'd rather see 1 year where it's like, damn, no Hutch, but the next 3, 4, 5 years we get Hutch. I'm all for it, but keep him rested right now.
Hey, if he's fully healthy, yeah, I mean, why? If there's a chance he can get hurt, then yes, you don't play him. Like,
there's always a chance.
I mean, with
Take
anything, I'm saying if that injury, like if it's not fully healed to where it's like there's something else that could, the thing, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. This is a tough.
You know why it's hard, Boone? Because you're speaking your heart. You want him.
I would love to see Hutch in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is like this first or second week of February. It's so far away. It's like 2.5 months away. Like we're so far out still. So like I think like maybe there's a chance. I don't know. I'm throwing up hope. That would be crazy. Think about Hutch like a game-winning sack in the Super Bowl or something. Like that would be
comes
nuts.
Out for one play,
and he just sacks Patrick Mahomes, and it's like game over.
Chiefs won't be there.
Yeah,
or whoever it is.
Josh Allen. Booner's like.
Hey, I hope I hope he sacks Josh Allen 100 times. Hey, Klotzy, there's no narratives aligning with the Josh. As soon as we get to the Super Bowl, if it's Josh Allen, he is the enemy. I hate that man. I hope I'm not going to say anything mean, but you know what I mean. You guys see the way my mind works. Instant enemy.
It's war. It's war out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he plays. But it'd be like the hell of a
crazy
story,
dude.
It'd be a hell of a story. He comes out there and plays, but you could see it. I know Devin put it in there. Not worth it. When we make it to the Super Bowl, we made it without him and can still win without him. Need that man for next year. And I saw another Full Slate Farm says, dude lost tons of muscle. You could see it. Yeah, you could see it in the video too. Like,
he's got to rehab back.
You got to get that leg strong, but hey, at
he's
least
probably been off his leg for a month now. Hasn't like he said he just started walking on it. Imagine if you didn't walk on one of your legs for over a month or two. Like your leg would become so small, all the muscle out of it.
Yeah, and obviously it had to have like emergency surgery right after he broke it. So
yeah,
it's all right. Hey, get him back next year. Get him back with Za'Darius. We're talking elite defensive line. So you're willing to be real patient. Also today, I saw Penei Sewell throwing dimes. I don't know, guys. I think they're going to work back Penei Sewell into this pass game.
I know.
I mean, I saw this. Brad Galley posted it, and he's just out here looking like QB3. Like he's already won.
QB1, brother.
Hey, look at that.
Look at the wrist.
By the way, there's another angle
Jones out there.
There's another angle of this. I mean, this guy, he's legit like throwing bombs to the end zone too. Like this is the legit. You guys, we've run a training camp and seen the drills that they do, like 40-yard bombs and make a play. Like he's just the other quarterback. We saw usually it's like Cardell Jones or the other coach. By the way, JT Barrett. That's who it was. Yeah, JT Barrett, head coach at Akron now. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
What?
Maybe I got duped. Akron football. I think JT Barrett took the head coaching job. I could have got duped. Maybe not at Kent State. Hold on. Kent State, maybe.
That'd be better. Akron's fucking the worst team in.
I don't know. Football. I could be I might have got duped. I think I got duped.
I was going to say, I have not seen.
I saw something that was like
JT. So strange in the middle of the year.
You know what actually?
He's like, while they're on their way to
golden flashes.
Do you know what it was? I think. Do you know what it was? I think there was maybe it was Kent State was an 0-12 team, right? This year, I think there was like a fan base or I think people within one of these MAC fan bases that was putting out tweets trying to get JT Barrett as the coach. And I think I felt for it thinking that he got the job.
Okay.
It's got golden flash, Boone. That looked like a Nerf ball in his fucking hand, though, dude. That in Penei's hand, it didn't even. Dude, that's who you put out there for a Hail Mary attempt because if for some reason they break through the line, throw Skipper out there, right tackle for one play, stiff arm, All 3 pass rushers are just out of there. Let Penei just uncork one. It's getting there. You name the distance, it's getting there.
They might run back that play in like it'll be like a different setup so teams won't expect it. But I feel like they're going to give him the rock again. He's going to try it because they teased it already.
It's going to be a run play, dude. I'm like, are they just running Penei Sewell on an end around right now? I'm like,
just running people over.
Think about who they just play. I'm mind blanking. The Bears. So think about being Tyreek Stevenson, 3rd round pick last year. You're like, God, I got to worry about covering Amon-Ra St. Brown. Got to worry about tackling David Montgomery, Jamo, Laporta, Gibbs. But now you're asked to tackle Penei Sewell, to actually go up there and tackle probably one of the largest football players in the NFL that's trying to throw the football. It's not like he picked up I would be shook if I was a defensive back.
He had 6 defensive players trying to tackle him, and he carried them all out of bounds.
Hey,
that picture, dude. And you know what I think is going to happen?
I swear to God.
After seeing him throw the bombs that he was, like, they're obviously having him practice for a reason. Like, Penei's just not over there just like for fun throwing bombs. Like, they're doing it for a reason. You know what it's going to be? It's not going to be like short field. Like, they were like the 20, I think, or 25 when they tried this. It's going to be like at the opposite 40, 50. And they're going to, instead of like a normal flea flicker, it's going to be like a type of flea flicker where it gets pitched back to Penei and he like comes back, takes it, and that man throws like a guy, like a flea flicker is like wide receivers just wide open. DBs just get caught up in the run. And there's going to be like Jamo wide open 30, 40 yards downfield, no one around him. Penei Sewell just tosses it up and he catches it and walks in for a touchdown.
4th and 3 in the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Just let Penei decide the game right there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going to see this picture real quick. This photo. Hold on. Let's see if I can.
It's insane, dude. And by the way, too, on Good Morning Football today, he won, I think
I mean, that's like a flex and a half.
I think he won the, what is it called? The scepter?
The Angry Runs.
Yeah, he won the scepter. I'm pretty sure. And I posted on our one. Yeah, he was the final one, and he won. I posted on our socials. Like, Penei Sewell, if you would have told me Penei Sewell wins the scepter for Angry Run of the Week, I would have like, okay, like there's no way this man actually won the award. Like, that's
he didn't even run. He ran, but he was just he was basically just scrambling. I mean, was that a sack? Did he take a sack?
I think so.
I don't know, dude.
I don't even care. That's
the greatest sack in NFL history, offensive wise.
If he would have broke those tackles and still thrown a dot, gold jacket him now. Jacket him now. You hang the whatever you want to call it in the rafters while he's still playing. Retire the jersey.
Can you guys, if you would have done that, would you guys have finally came on air and said, Booner, your Penei Sewell Offensive Player of the Year conversation? We can have that, like top 3.
No,
top 3. The man threw for. Why Jeff just get so?
This is where my mind would go to. Boom.
I was looking.
I don't know why I yelled top 3 that way. I was top 3.
I was looking up real quick. I was looking up if an offensive lineman's ever thrown a touchdown. I don't think it's ever happened. It might have happened once, maybe. I can't.
Offensive lineman's thrown a touchdown. I'm sure that's happened.
He caught one for sure, but thrown is crazy.
Yeah, because like even seeing Penei like in that end around motion, like him about to get the pitch, like I was like, what? I was like, what am I looking at right now? Like, this does not look right. I was like, Brock Wright got fucking huge or something like that. Like, this makes no sense. No.
Yeah,
it'd have to be like, I'd give him top 5. Top 5 we can talk about. Saquon, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Lamar, no order, however you want to put them.
Okay, I just want to throw this out there real quick. Is my internet messed up?
What'd you see? What you seeing? I kind of glitched there for a second. My shutter just froze.
I say both of you guys are changing. Okay, I'm just making sure. I was like, there's no way both of these different guys are. That's really tweaking me out over here.
Nah, you're good.
I also have the injury report for the Packers.
Here we go.
And Jair, I know it says limited
again,
but Jair didn't play last game. So Jair, I think this is like good news for Packers fans. Like, I think he's working his way back rather than like might not play. So
2 games or 2 days out, though. That's still
2 days out. He could easily miss this week too, but I think he didn't practice last week at all. I could be wrong, but I don't think he practiced. So he's Corey Ballantyne. He did not participate at all. That's another corner. Kenny Clark, rest. He's been limited, with his participation. I know we had Dusty on. He said he's kind of getting more healthy from a prior injury.
Yep.
But Edgerrin Cooper, hamstring. He didn't practice at all this week. Romeo Dobbs, concussion. That could go either way. I'm not really sure. Josh Jacobs. A lot of these guys are just banged up. Like, I don't know how many are going to actually miss, but they're dealing with injuries too. It's the NFL. We're late in the season, so a lot of guys are going to be dealing with it. Elgton Jenkins,
limited,
and he's dealing with that knee. He's a good player, so that's a guy to watch if he plays or not. And then the other guys, I don't really know. Josh Myers, their center.
Isaiah McDuffie,
and then I don't know who is he good. Isaiah McDuffie.
McDuffie, he was a guy that we trolled, Jeff, and then
he's an absolute dog. Like I would.
Not
on the Lions. Well, who would you comp him as the Lions? One of the Lions linebackers.
He would be like their Malcolm Rodriguez, but he's a little bit more athletic, but he's inconsistent.
Derek Barnes.
All right.
Derek Barnes is a good one, Boone.
Derek Barnes.
But Josh Myers, Rasheed Walker. Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of guys that are banged up. A lot of guys that
John Fitzpatrick being full participation is huge. I mean, that's a guy you got to watch out for. Klotz's watch list, John Fitzpatrick, tight end. Watch out.
John Fitzpatrick. No. Nope.
No. I am interested to see, though, like, tomorrow the practice. You're 2 days out now. Like, really, there's one practice and then it's game time. So typically when we look at these, it's like Tuesday, you have a full week. You're like, Tuesday is now your Friday. So if you see a player Friday, typically that's limited practice or did not practice on a Friday, you're probably out. In limited practice, like, you're probably questionable for the game time decision. So I feel like that's a good thing for the Lions. Like, Jair, seeing him there, he didn't play the last time versus the Lions. I don't believe either.
He's played the last couple of times
because
like
I know
missed.
Yeah,
I know one game at least last year he missed as well. I think it was the one to open up the season.
And I think Dusty said he was out the last 3 weeks. I think it was 4 because I think we played them 4 weeks ago. And he did not play versus us. So he has been out for 4 weeks plus at least minimum now. The Kenny Clark thing, like, limited as well. Like, some of these limited ones, I'm interested to see tomorrow tomorrow you're going to get like the Saturday report, like their first initial game report, in or out, doubtful. So that's going to tell a lot. That's going to tell a bunch. Same with the Lions, though. Like, look at the defensive line. Levi Josh Pascal, and DJ Reader all no practice. That is like just an absolute stab in the heart, dude. That is brutal.
That sucks. Yeah, no, it blows.
That's brutal, dude. How many? What is it? It's like, you know how like the linebackers, it's like 4 out of the top 5 linebackers are hurt. If you're really looking at this right now with Hutch and Davenport, like 6 of your top 7 defensive linemen are hurt. Because outside of Aleem McNeil, and then I guess you can count Za'Darius, so 6 of your top 8, like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, well, good thing they have Al Muhammad.
Hey, AQM, don't sleep. Big
Al. You can make some
at least on the being like, like obviously the Lions will still have a disadvantage, especially if DJ Reader's out. But if Eldon Jenkins and Josh Myers are out, that's definitely going to throw a wrench in the Packers. I know that they've been kind of playing without those 2 guys, but in order, like, this Lions run defense, even if DJ Reader and this linebacker core is banged up, not out there, I still think they'll be able to limit Josh Jacobs for the pace that he's been on. I mean, he's been on an absolute tear. I don't think that Josh Jacobs, even in Ford Field with a banged-up Lions front 7, is going to go crazy. Like, I think if the Packers shred the Detroit Lions, it'll be Jordan Love. Because I just think as a unit, like, they just have that mentality. I know there's a lot of new guys there as far as chemistry goes, but I just feel like every time you watch this Detroit Lions defense, regardless of who it is, I mean, we've seen David Long, you just talked about Muhammad. You see these guys are always in the right spots. Now, sometimes they don't make the tackle. Sometimes the backs make a move. Either way, they're always coached to be in the right position. So regardless of who the Lions have in front of them, I still have faith in them to be able to make plays. But this is a very good Green Bay offense that I think, even though I was just hyping them up, they're going to put points on the board. They're going to get some yardage. So that's why, going to what you said earlier, Boone, it's going to be an offensive game, I think. And there's really no injuries outside of Taylor Decker on that offense. And you saw without Taylor Decker last week, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, both over 100 combined yards. And that Chicago's defense is legit too. Like, I think it's right on. Yeah. You look at Green Bay's defense, you look at Chicago's. On paper, Chicago's better. Recently, Green Bay's been playing better, but both those defenses are pretty even tiered. And the Lions offense still had really good success last week running the ball and even through the air. So be interesting. But
with your point, Klotz, I just want to throw this out there too before we move on. Like, the question I keep hearing a lot is like the Bears, like, is that second half worrying to you? Like, I think there's a sense, like, that's just because of the injuries. Like this was let's call a spade a spade. Like the Chicago Bears team, like they have a good roster. Like that they have
They got playmakers. They got
so like the second half, like, does it worry me? If I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, like, no. The thing that worries me is more so the injuries. It has nothing to do with the way they played. Like think about. I went back and watched the second half of a couple possessions. Like defensively, they sat Caleb Williams like 2 or 3 times on the last possession. Like they were giving Caleb Williams hell. Like that's what you want, and that was with the hurt defense. And Caleb and Keenan Allen, like they just made plays, and DJ Moore, and it's because they have playmakers. And then like that's not a bad football team. Like they had dudes, they have some of the best players in the NFL at those positions making those plays.
Yeah.
So like they were still out there. Like they sat Caleb Williams multiple times on the final drive. Jake Bates missed that field goal. Like there are just small things to where, yeah, they came back and they almost tied the game. At the end of the day, though, like there was just like this like very, very small details that I'm sure Dan's like looking at and be like, hey, we got to clean these up. And like that's when you clean those things up. That's when this Lions team goes and wins by multiple scores. It's like I'm genuinely like seeing that second half and watching it again. Like, yes, there are mistakes, but you had injuries. I'm not actually that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this makes me so nervous seeing the second. Like, no. The thing that makes me nervous is the injuries and that other teams won't lose. Like, that's where it's like people aren't leaving behind you. You still control your own destiny, and this is still one of the best teams in the league.
Well, let's play this clip by Dan. He's talking about just kind of we'll get into the convo. Lions hitting their stride, and how do we feel about how they're playing right now, late in the season? I think a lot of players always say it, coaches say it. It's not about how you're playing the beginning of the season; it's how you're playing at the end of the season. Not that it's the end yet, but we're getting to that point. Here's Dan Campbell on where the Lions are right now and where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've been this way for a long time, in my opinion. I mean, it's what our guys are made of, and you know, and they understand that. And look, the best part of all of this, like we're in playoff football right now. Like that's where we're at. We're in December, and our schedule says that. Man, we play tough opponent after tough opponent after tough. We got another one. I mean, we got plenty coming up. So, and this is the type of stuff that you live for, and it's also the type of stuff that gets you ready for the tournament. You know, so. Yeah, we're a resilient bunch, and nothing's going to change that. We got to worry about the one in front of us.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not worried about about anything schematically. I'm with you, but it's more about just the injuries because the injury bug doesn't care what time of the year it is, doesn't care what team you are, doesn't care what your aspirations are, but it's going to come down on you, and when it does. It spreads like guys are going down left and right. I looked at their depth chart on ESPN, dude. Half the rosters got injuries, and half of them on defense specifically. But a lot of guys are on IR, like even on offense, Khalif Raymond IR. And now you're kind of looking at it like, all right, Maurice, he could step up, and they look at defense. You're like, oh my God, only so many guys can step up. Now you got to start signing guys like Quan Alexander, solid linebacker, Jamal Adams. You got D-Long in there. You got 3 new linebackers in like a matter of a
monster right there.
You got some, but they're digging deep, and the injuries on defense do worry me a little bit. But you got some time to the playoffs. I think the biggest thing for me right now, and what I'm focused on, I think all Lions fans should be focused on, is just win the division. The number 1 seed, I've started to care less about. Just because I don't. If they win it, great. I'll be excited. But I think with how competitive this division is, like that's where my focus goes first. Like I get you can do both, you can, but just get the division, and then you get the bye, and then you get the home playoff game. So I'm
this all right, Jeff. This is where me and you last year we separated. I feel deja vu here a little bit, where you're like, let's just get the division and get the one home playoff game. Remember last year, me and you had that argument. But it heads where it was like you were like, I just want the playoff win, and I want the NFC. I want to go to the NFC Championship game, and you're like, no, I just want the playoff win. That's all that matters. That's what this feels like a little bit, because in my notes today I put, you have to get the 1 seed. Like you can't go start 11-1. Your aspirations are go to the Super Bowl, right, Jeff? What this gets back to the Booner path. And people at the time when the Lions had the 1 seed almost locked, it felt like a couple weeks ago, and I laid it out. People were like, well, no, duh, Booner. Now you're starting to look at it, like how important this 1 seed is. Because, Jeff, NFC Championship game, do you feel more comfortable playing at Ford Field versus the Philadelphia Eagles or going to Philadelphia with those fans and playing outdoors in the cold? And I know the narrative, they've proven it wrong with the Packers, but still, that's still in effect. In January, outdoors in Philadelphia, which would you prefer? Because I think the best chance to go to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl is, listen, I don't want to go on the road and play outdoors. We went on the road and played outdoors in 49ers and gave up that big lead. Now you're going on the road in Philly. Like, no, everything runs through Detroit. Like this, it runs through Ford Field, Jeff. And that's where it's like, yeah, I want to win the division. Guess what happens if you get the 1 seed, Jeff Iafrate? What happens?
You're gonna win the division anyway.
You're winning the division anyways. And guess what? So like your number one goal is like, I get it. Like, yeah, you want to win the division, you get the 1 seed, you have 2 straight. You have a bye week with all the guys on IR, Anzo, all these guys who potentially could come back in the playoffs. You get an extra week off for them. That's huge. 2, you get 2 home games. And 3, you don't have to travel to Philly, or you don't have to travel to one of these other teams and play out like Green Bay, Jeff. Imagine if you had to play Green Bay in the NFC Championship in January in Lambeau Field, and it's 6 inches of snow. You don't want to do that. Your number one priority right now, if you're the Detroit Lions, and I think Dan said it today perfectly, this is playoff football now. Like December, January, regular playoff football. It's like win or go home, and that's how you have to treat it. Like, especially a divisional game or an NFC game. It is a win or go home. You do not. That was crazy, bro.
What?
You gotta mute
yourself, bro.
I didn't think you could hear it.
You gotta mute yourself. That was crazy. I was just like, I had to say something because I was like, I can't let people think that was me. I was like, that was not me. But I saw you in like I saw you like backstage lift your leg up. I was like, that's crazy. But you guys see what I'm saying? Like the 1 seed is more important than ever. Like more important than ever. You have to go get that 1 seed. And I think that's like number one priority. Dan says it like, hey, it's time for us to catch our stride. And Jeff, this topic was the Detroit Lions catch your stride. It's not your offense. I think it comes down to your offense has to catch your stride. You need this offense to go out there and score 35 points a game the rest of the year to go get the 1 seed. And that's the formula, because you have 12 guys defensively on the IR. 12 guys. So like offensively, guess what? It's time to step up. It's time to catch your stride. Like that's what I think this formula is to go get the 1 seed. But like I'm sorry, there's no way we need to win the division. No. 1 seed. The division comes with that.
You know what, Boone?
Concede, Jeff.
You learned you had to have learned last year.
No, well, last year was different. I was wrong, but that wasn't like I didn't want that. I didn't want that to be. It wasn't like me saying like I guess we had 2 different expectations. That is fair. So I guess for me, it was like all I need is a playoff win. That was like where I was as a Lions fan.
Well,
this year, you make great points, Boone. And I don't want the Lions to shit the bed on the road like Klotz just shit his pants. Like I want the Lions to be a good team in a good position. You know, I want them to play at Ford Field. So I'm not.
What you have to realize too.
I'm not going to argue with you about like 1 seed versus win division. I guess my thing was just like one of the two.
You had to pick one. Yeah.
And
I think what's important with the 1 seed as well, and just kind of going what Dan said about December. I think December is going to be a tough stretch, and it's kind of what we talk about before this kind of injury bug hit. The line just kept on winning games. They kept getting tested, but then they were blowing teams out. So it's like, okay, this team, they went 12 quarters without allowing a touchdown. And then you look at it, can they hold that into the postseason? Is that something they can really do? Well, you look, they got the Packers, the Bills, the Bears, and the Niners in the month of December. I think they're probably going to go. I don't think they're going to go 4-0. I think they'll go 3-1. I'm not going to say which one I think they lose just yet. But if they go 3-1, they're going to be tied with Philly as far as the 1 seed, because there's still 1 game up on Philly. So when you look at that schedule, it's going to make them better because they're going to be playing against good team, playoff caliber teams, whether it's AFC or NFC, and then divisional games. So it's going to get them battle tested. But if you get that 1 seed, I think the reason why it's more important than anything is it gives you an extra week for guys like Alex Anzalone, those guys that are like on the verge of coming off injury during that time. It gives them another week if they're back to get a little bit healthier. But if they want to return, it gives them another week of practice. gives them home field. The nerves are away. So I think with how banged up this team is, it makes that number 1 seed even more of a priority because you need that defense healthy when you go into the playoffs against these NFC offenses.
I think essentially too, I could be wrong. What's Philly's record? And I just want to make sure we go over this right because I think it is
10-2.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you can only afford to lose one more game. Like you have 5 games left. Like you have to go 4-1. And I don't know what the tiebreaker would be with Philly, but you have to like hope that they drop another game.
It would be NFC wins, right? That's how they do that.
I guess maybe. Would it be NFC wins?
No, it'd be NFC, and they beat the Packers.
So they're 6-2, and we're 7-1. So yeah, I guess you would just have to hope that the Eagles drop another game, and if they drop another game, I think you get it to where you can go 3-2 to end the year. Right?
Yeah, and they don't. We don't have. If they finish with it, I wonder what it'd go to too, because the Lions and Eagles both lost to Tampa. And then the other NFC they have is the Falcons. The Lions don't play the Falcons.
Are we at like must-win territory? Is this must-win?
I think like honestly, no, I do. Klotz, I think you have 5 games remaining. Guys, I know it's been a year to where we've blown teams out. You're 11-1. It should feel really good. Any other year in the NFL, you're probably sitting there at 11-1, and you're like, okay, we're gonna go. Like, what did the Eagles start last year? What was it? 10-0. 10-1?
10-1.
10-1. Like,
yeah,
guys,
10-1.
we're in a spot like that to where things can fall. Like, they didn't even get I don't even think they won their division last year. They didn't even win their division. They started 10-1 and didn't win their division. Things fell apart. So, like, the number 1 priority, again, is the 1 seed. And when you have 5 games remaining and you have the Eagles 1 game behind, you have the Vikings essentially, a game behind. You have the Packers, who you are playing on Thursday, 2 games behind, and they can make it 1 quick. Then you start to look at it and you're like, all right, this isn't like we have a 10-game season left. Like you have 5 games left. This is like
crazy to think about.
This is go time. Like you can there's no more not must wins, especially when you're playing a team that's 2 games behind fighting for a division. Yeah, like you're 11-1. Like this is a must win game in division. A team that's competing for the 1 seed and the division, like you have to win. This is like a winner, not win or go home, but like Jeff, when you're on the Honolulu Blues, like Nick brought it up, like you can go from the 1 seed down to the 6 seed, boom, like that within 2 weeks because of injuries. So you have like these are all must-win games to me. Like,
what do you think? Just because I don't think it's must-win until you see what happens after this Packers game. Because if they beat the Packers, they're obviously in a great spot. But if they lose to the Packers, they're still in a spot where they can go and retain the number 1 seed. I think if they lose, I don't see them losing again. So I think if they lose to the Packers, that's when I think it starts turning into must-wins. But when you look at this game against the Packers specifically, 2 more divisional games, both in Ford Field. No, one's in Chicago, one's in Ford Field. I don't know. I don't think this is a must-win game against a huge game. Huge game with a lot on the line, but must win where it's like you can't get the 1 seed if you lose this game. I don't think it's there yet. You lose to the Packers and you lose to the Bills, that's when it's like, okay, you might not be able to get the number 1 seed. So I don't think the Packers game is must win yet, but it's fucking ginormous. It's ginormous.
That's where I think that's where I disagree. I just think it's must win because if you lose this game, like the control, like the momentum, you've lost all these players. The momentum, you just lost a game at home versus a divisional team who was 1 game behind. Now you're tied with the Vikings. You have to play them week 18. The Eagles potentially could take over the 1 seed. Like this is like you can't afford to lose these. Get a 1 seed. These are the games you win.
The last time the Eagles made the Super Bowl, the last time they made the Super Bowl, they were the 1 seed, I believe. That's when they were 14-3, I believe, and they got the bye, beat a 49ers team with no Brock Purdy because they were down on their last, their like 3rd quarterback, 4th quarterback, Christian McCaffrey. But still, like the number 1 seed is valuable. So I'll say this. I would rather them beat the Packers than beat the Bills. Like if they win this week and lose next week, I'm comfortable with that. I'm not obsessed with the Bills game. I know it's going to be massive, but to me, this game's more important because we brought up the NFC wins at the end of the year. When you're looking back, this is like the Eagles beat the Packers. Remember week 1. So, you got to get this one. Wrap it up 2-0 against the Packers.
I feel like the Bills game, and I know it sounds crazy, the Bills game, in my opinion, is probably the most meaningless game left on the schedule because you have Packers, Vikings, Bears, NFC
divisional,
NFC North, and then you got the Niners on the road. So it's an NFC West team, which the Lions have had success against so far. You'd be able to get a chance to sweep the NFC West. I mean, I think the Bills
it's like a showcase game. That's
Yeah,
basically what it is.
Yeah.
It's like a Super Bowl, a potential Super Bowl preview game that the media is going to get hype around. But essentially, like, have the Eagles played the Bear or the Bills? Like, that's another question to look at. I just think you have to look at like
That's right now.
common opponents and stuff.
haven't.
Like, so like that's not even a common opponent. So just for a tiebreaker. So yeah, the Bills game, like I think it's big. Like every game's big, but like these divisional games, guys, and these NFC games. Like again, if you're tied with the Eagles and the first tiebreaker is the conference the conference record, you have to win these games. Like the Bears, the Vikings, the 49ers. Luckily, the 49ers are going to be beat up when you play them, but like still, you have to go. You're on the road. That's why, Klotz, I'm like, this is just a must win because like you still control your own destiny. If you win this game, like you still have the steering wheel. If you lose this game, you have one hand on the steering wheel, and the Vikings or the Eagles have their other hand on the steering wheel, and you're sitting there and you're like, all right,
that's why
now we need help.
When you look at this, I like what you said about the whole steering wheel thing. I think that's when you have one on each, like you got the Lions or you got the Eagles on the other side. I think that's when it turns into must wins. But I think with the Lions still leading by one game, because do you think the Lions are going to win out? And I'm genuinely asking.
No, but like Klotz, I get that point, but it's like you don't want to just let your foot off the gas. Like must wins doesn't have to be like your back's against the wall. Like must win could also be like, hey, I'm about to have a knockout punch to end it and get the 1 seed. Like this game, if you win this game, you put right now the pressure's on you, even though you're in the lead. You knock the Packers out and you finish this knockout punch. Guess what? Like now you really control your destiny the next 4 games. Like it changes the whole season with your injuries. Well, it changes everything.
The Eagles face bad NFC teams, if I'm remembering correctly. They got Cowboys, Giants,
Panthers, I think,
Commanders, the Durs.
But the Durs, I think they could beat them again.
They got the Steelers and Commanders. That's who they have to play. So they got a more favorable schedule.
And the Steelers AFC. So but NFC opponents, they got Giants, Commanders, and Cowboys, I think.
So
that Steelers game is going to be tough.
But they could drop one of the Steelers. Yep. So there's another one. So it's going to be a push for, I think, if both teams, it'll be close. So NFC wins are important. We'll get to our predictions later in the week. I kind of gave out one today. It was a weird number on Honolulu Blues podcast. Weird number. Boone gave me shit for it. But
I'm going to be honest though.
What's up?
That Ravens win for the Eagles. That's tough. Like we needed the Ravens to win that game.
Thing is, though, guys, it's like there's something like the Eagles look great right now, and they do. But I just, when it comes to like going into Philadelphia is intimidating. I just think like this Lions team would be able to control Philly regardless of where they play at.
I mean,
I agree.
Look
at
this
percentages and best chances. That's all it is. I think they beat them no matter what. It's just more so like, hey, give yourself the best chance.
Hey, this is a great comment. 14 of Eagles' 17 games against run defenses in the bottom 16. How does that make them a playoff juggernaut when they finally face a top-ranked run D 2 games in a row before they even get to us?
Yeah,
bro. Jalen Hurts' arm is not beating anybody. I'm sorry, at least in the playoffs anymore. I think that MVP run. And I think that's the best you're going to see out of Jalen Hurts. Not saying he's bad, but it's just you've seen like as season goes on, like last season, the season before, and even like I expect to see it. We might not because Saquon's there, but as the season goes on, Jalen Hurts usually starts to decline a little bit, whether it's because of injuries, chemistry. There's always something that starts to degrade Philadelphia towards the end of the season after that Super Bowl run they had with Sirianni. I think when you look at the Lions, they're fighting through all of these things, but they're either staying at the same spot or they're getting better. I think the Lions have the better quarterback, better coach, better offense. When you look at just offensive line playmakers, Philly has playmakers. No one's going to disagree with that. Like both teams on paper, very good. But even on the road, I still have confidence that the Lions will be able to push around Philly. Be a game, but I still have faith that the Lions will go into Philly and win. Again,
I'm just going to be the one to keep saying it. It is a must to get the 1 seed, I think. Like you get the bye week, like Klotz, like we're talking about going into the you don't get the 1 seed. Guess what you're doing? You're playing the first week after week 18. Guess what? You might not have any of these guys on IR back. You might not have Enzo. Like there are certain guys you might not get back. Do you want to play? Like I know it's going to be at Ford Field, but just playing any playoff, you know it. Like we felt like we saw it last year. Like that Rams game came down to the end, and you had a full roster then. Like if you go into a wild card game where you can get an extra week to get everyone back, like you want Vincent just put it, you want all roads to go through Detroit. You get a bye week and you get 2 straight weeks to go to the Super Bowl in the city of Detroit in Ford Field. I think that's like one priority.
Yeah, I know who Xavier McKinney's priority is. He's going to have to worry about Amon-Ra St. Brown. You guys see what Xavier McKinney? This guy's talking again.
Loser.
I mean, what are we doing, Xavier McKinney? You did this last time the Lions played. This Lions offense likes to embarrass people, and he was absent in that game, missing. In this game, he said this about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Let's hear from Xavier McKinney.
Had that Green Bay sucks shirt last time. Was that just something silly? Who cares? Or is it something kind of?
Yeah, I ain't worried about him. We're not worried about him.
Had that Green Bay sucks.
Oh,
that is just
Xavier,
shows that man's been playing in New York.
Xavier. Let me tell you something. Amon-Ra St. Brown remembers every receiver drafted in front of him. And you don't think he's going to forget this shit? You don't think he's the pettiest of petty. This is going to be on the bulletin board. Like, you messed up, Xavier. You gave this man another thing to write down in his damn journal. He's going to write it down. He's going to manifest it, whatever the hell he does before the game, and then go out there and get 10 for $150. So congrats, Xavier McKinney. You just woke up a beast. Okay. That's what you just did. I think he gets a touchdown easily. That's what he's going to do on Xavier McKinney specifically. I don't know how it happens, but it's going to happen. And then you got Tucker Kraft saying this, and I have this quote from Tucker Kraft I want to read because we talked about it, but I actually have the full quote. This is on LombardiLive.com. He said, he's a respectable player in the NFC, Kraft said, but in my mind, I'm not really worried about DBs too often. I'm worried about guys in the box. And I'm sure they bring guys down, safety rotation, and we target them in the run, but it's just a different game. I don't have too many tidbits on Kirby. I know he's a dangerous player. He can flip games. He's a good DB. I may not agree with some of the places he likes to lay contact. He's taken some of my brothers out of the game, and I think about that too. So if I get a chance to get my hands on him, playing football.
What a loser, dude.
So you got Xavier McKinney talking. You got Tucker throwing out. He did compliment him. He said he's a very good player, but throwing some shade, why do they continue? It's like a kid who won't learn. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't touch the stove, they touch the stove. It's like, don't do that, they do that just to piss you off. It's like Xavier McKinney, I wouldn't talk shit. We ain't worried about him.
Xavier McKinney.
What are we doing?
And I know Xavier McKinney is a very fine football player. I mean, if we're talking about like not worried about it, Amon-Ra St. Brown's an all-pro wide receiver in the NFL. Xavier McKinney can have all the interceptions he wants in the world. That man's never landed on an all-pro team.
No.
He's good. If we're talking about worried about certain players and giving respect to certain players, this man was an all-pro wide receiver last year in the NFL. He's going to get a second award this year and be another all-pro wide receiver this year. And you're talking about now, like, what are we? I honestly, I think it's more so like that's disrespectful. Like, I hope Amon-Ra takes that as like the most disrespectful thing ever. Like, Xavier McKinney's not saying that about AJ Brown. He's not saying that about Tyreek Hill. He's not saying that about like Justin Jefferson. Guess what? Welcome to the NFL, Xavier McKinney. Amon-Ra St. Brown's right up there with those guys. He's an all-pro wide receiver in the NFL. So if you're gonna act like there's no disrespect, I hope Xavier. I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but I hope Amon-Ra St. Brown gets a touchdown on Xavier McKinney and does some sort of dance like right next to him, right in his face. I'll take the flag. Give me the flag. But I want to see Amon-Ra St. Brown get revenge on this man. And same with Kirby. Go ahead, Kirby.
Yeah.
Lay a hit on Tucker Kraft. I hope you lay a hit on that man. Let him know who you are. Because both of these guys, man, the Packers, I hate the Bears. I'm starting to really not like the Packers. And it's just because of the way these players talk and think that, like, they're like, they know the Lions are the team to beat. So they're trying to find different ways to get in the Lions' head. And it's like, hey, you're just giving them both. Like, this is what they thrive off of. Like, this Lions team, Dan Campbell players
look for motivation.
Thrive.
Yes,
dude. They thrive off hearing stuff like that. Thrive off of it.
You know what the Green Bay Packers are, guys, and I was thinking about it. And it's kind of friendly fire towards myself, but the Green Bay Packers over the last probably 3 to 4 years are just the NFL version of Ohio State. They look good, When you put them under the bright lights in a big game where they need to win, they just don't. And I think when you just keep looking at this Packers team, Xavier McKinney as a whole, look at that first matchup. I don't know why you wouldn't be thinking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like Boone said, he's an all-pro caliber player. We don't have to speak to that. Maybe he's worried about Jamison Williams. But when I hear that, that is just insecurity, because when you know that Amon-Ra can't be stopped, like, you have so many other things to worry about if you're not worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown, because that should be your first issue. If you're not worrying about Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions are going to be putting up 50 points on your head like they have been multiple times on teams. So Xavier McKinney, all-pro caliber season loading, but I think this game, Ben Johnson with Jamison Williams, like, he does not know what to expect. I don't know if he's ever played against an offense like this. Even when he was in the Giants, like, Philly was good, but they're not like how they are now with Saquon. They didn't have a rushing attack like that. They had DeAndre Swift and those guys. They had Boston Scott. Like, nobody that was scaring them. The Dallas Cowboys, maybe, but they weren't anything legitimate. Like, Xavier McKinney, he played the Lions before, but he's not seen the offense they're about to get after right now with the Detroit Lions in Ford Field. So insecurity, let him have it. But Boone, I've been saying the same thing. The Packers are my least favorite team because they're just arrogant. Like, they remember the time when Aaron Rodgers won them a Super Bowl. They remember Favre, but they just always think they're a Super Bowl contender no matter what because of that block G on the side of their helmet. But different times, Boone, different times.
Yeah, I know Xavier McKinney. I know you just got here. You just signed with the Packers, but are you familiar that Amon-Ra St. Brown is averaging a first down every catch, essentially? That's what he's given the Packers. He's averaging 10 yards a catch through his career against the Packers. So tread lightly, tread lightly. That's what I was saying.
I'm glad he said
Xavier McKinney. That's a problem you don't want, man. And Xavier McKinney, very fine player, but he's the wrong guy. Pick on like Brock Wright. Do something else. Like, well, you don't pick on the all-pro wide receiver at home, by the way, in Ford Field. It won't be bad weather. They'll be indoors. They'll be slinging the rock around.
What was it that Xavier McKinney, wasn't he that he complained that the Lions were blowing teams out and he didn't like that?
Yeah.
That's how you know the guy he's just I'm not going to say it, but you guys know where I'm going with it.
Well,
no comment.
Before we get to what I wanted to discuss, I forgot to mention this earlier. The Josh Reynolds stuff. He got cut. So I know I just want to mention this because we got some time here. I know Klotz posted a video. I haven't gotten Boone's thoughts on it. I want Boone to share his thoughts. I made a video today. Josh Reynolds cut from the Broncos. It was announced today. Basically, I believe he's in the waiver wire, correct? That's how that works. Yeah. So teams are going to have an opportunity to claim him. Lions eventually will get to a point where they'll have an opportunity to claim him if they so choose. Basically, the Broncos have him on IR, and they had to make a decision whether or not to put him back on the roster. And by doing that, they'd have to cut one of their wide receivers. And they seem to like their wide receivers. They seem to like the little group they got right now. So they straight up cut him. And now he's got an opportunity. Let's say hypothetically he's available by the time the Lions they're able to claim. Would you like to see Josh Reynolds in Detroit? Because I said in the video I wouldn't mind it, given you got Khalif Raymond on IR. Not that he fits that role, but you just get another body in there. I don't hate it. But are there more important positions? Yes, there are. Defensive line obviously should be number one. Corner. Like, there's other stuff you could probably talk about, but where are you guys at with Josh Reynolds? I like Josh. I like Josh over Allen Robinson. I'll say
yes. And Michael, that's actually a great point. Listen, if they bring, and this is where I think the mindset has to change with a guy like Josh Reynolds. Like, he got cut. If you pick him up, he probably, like, you could argue, like, what is he going on your practice squad? Like, if he ends up getting cut and going through waivers and consigned with the team, that means no teams picked him up. Like, that means no teams are really interested in him, whether it's because of injuries or not. Listen, if Josh Reynolds is not injured, I don't know what his injury situation looks like right now, but if he's healthy and, he's sitting there and he goes through waivers and no one picks him up, you guys can't tell me you're not picking Josh Reynolds up just to go on your practice squad to where down the stretch, especially with the injury bug that's going on within this football team right now, if Allen Robinson, or if you think he's better than Allen Robinson, or Allen Robinson goes down, or someone goes down, you have a Josh Reynolds, someone who, one, knows the offense already, has played with Jared Goff forever, his whole NFL career. But that's your, like, wide receiver number 7 in your building after he was your wide receiver 3 last year. Like you would be an idiot to say, no, I'm okay, I'll pass on that. Like that, what are we talking about here? Like genuinely, what are we for him to be a practice squad guy? And if a guy goes down, you're like, hey, our backup is Josh Reynolds. Like, come on now. Like, let's be realistic. Let's call it what it is. He was wide receiver 2 last year. Yeah, sorry, full slate. Like to have him as like your number 7 option, to where he's probably won't be active ever on game days unless you actually need him. Like, come on.
Look, I'm not like saying I don't want Josh Reynolds. If he clears waivers and he makes a practice squad, my thing is just the people that are just Josh Reynolds, bring him back home. Look what he did. Like, it's okay. If you want to talk about Josh Reynolds and Allen Robinson, what do both of them bring?
You're taking Josh Reynolds. There's no this. I love you. We're not even getting into this. You're taking Josh Reynolds.
You said your piece. You said your piece. You said
ahead,
why would you? I'm answering the why. Josh Reynolds, good blocker, reliable hands, and you know that he has that chemistry with Goff. He knows the playbook. Allen Robinson, good blocker, reliable hands, getting that chemistry with Goff. I don't think there's anything where, again, if you want to put him on the practice squad, that's fine. Elevate if he clears waivers. But for like people that are like, go after Josh Reynolds and get him, he doesn't bring anything this offense they don't already have. And my point is, when you look at this team as a whole, the wide receiver spot is the last place they need to worry about. I don't care how many defensive linemen you need to add. You add them. You add the worst defensive waiver that you could possibly get on before you bring Josh Reynolds, because this defensive injury bug is going to continue to get worse. It could strike on offense, but that offense, even if they were to lose Allen Robinson, they're to lose Tim Patrick, hell, knock on wood, if they're to lose Jamison Williams, they're still going to be the best offense in the NFL regardless. Its defense right now is what needs fixing. So if Josh Reynolds gets signed, clears waivers, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, that bum, because he's not a bum. But at this point, you're signing a wide receiver 4 or 5 potentially when you sign him. And that's just not something the Lions need. There's positions of need that this Lions team has. And if you bring him to the practice squad, you're going to have to let somebody go. And if it's on the defensive side of the ball, I don't like that. Even on the offensive line, like go and get an offensive lineman before you get Josh Reynolds. That's my opinion on it. I don't think he's a terrible player. But when you look at like people like Allen Robinson instantly over Josh Reynolds was offered money by Detroit. And he's like, nah, I don't want to be here. I want to go make money. What do you think that shows the locker room if it's a guy with Allen Robinson is like, I just want to play here. I just want to be here. And now Josh Reynolds goes back and instantly slots over him. I just don't think that sends a good message to the locker room. These are the guys that are brought in and bought in for 2024. And Josh Reynolds had the opportunity to do so, and he didn't want to. So if he's that's the case, that's fine. But I'm just not losing sleep over Josh Reynolds. And Corey Hall, Josh Reynolds is not returning kicks. Not a chance.
Klotz, this is where it's like you're acting like, and I get your point. If there are people saying he should come in and be wide receiver 2, all right, I get that. I've not seen, like, this is like you screaming to the choir or yelling at someone who doesn't exist. Like, I've not seen that once on Twitter. If you can go find me tweets or people who are like, he needs to be wide receiver 2 or 3, like, please send that to me. I would love to see that. I'm realistic and I've not seen that. And what I know is, yes, Klotz, 2 things can be true. You can need help on defense, but also if a player becomes available offensively, to where you're able to have depth in the practice squad room or depth on your team, you do it. Just because you're like, oh my gosh, we're down on defense, we only can take defensive players because we're down. No, like, you just because you're down on defense doesn't mean you just completely cut off offense and special teams and be like, we're never going to take players over there because our defense, like, that's a terrible argument to me. So, like, you need, like, it's like very realistic to where, like, like your point about Allen Robinson, he has a connection with Jared Goff. No one has a better connection with Jared Goff than Josh Reynolds. Like, we know that is like, that is it. And if people like want to use his drops in the NFC Championship game is like, oh, no, we don't. Guys, again, and people will be like, we don't need a wide receiver. If he comes on your practice squad, he gives you, like, and he is healthy and he's good to go. If you look me dead in the eyes and tell me he is not a better option than Allen Robinson, I love Allen Robinson. This man played with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff under this offense for 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. Whether you need it or not, you add him to the practice squad. And if you're picking over Allen Robinson or Josh Reynolds, and this is me saying if Josh Reynolds is healthy, you're going Josh Reynolds because he has been in this offense. Like, he you know what he is. He knows what it is. Like, the only reason he was a high priority in the offseason. He was a big priority over Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson came in training camp. They wanted Josh Reynolds to be back. He just got more money and went somewhere else. So this is a guy that you wanted on your team. And we're not saying, hey, come in and be over Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick's earned that job. He deserves it. You're talking about practice squad. Practice, like this is a guy who is like, that's a steal to have on your practice squad. A guy that last year was your wide receiver 2, and he comes in as your wide receiver 7. And if a guy goes down in the playoffs or a guy goes down in week 17 or 18, you have that guy as your backup. And if you say no to that just because we need defense, but you can't sign anyone, you've already brought all these people in for defense. Like, you've done defense. Like, just because you need players on defense doesn't mean you can't address. And if there's an opportunity to bring a guy like that in, you just say, no, we have so many guys on IR on defense. Let's just ignore that. Like, come on, Klotz, you know that. I know you know better than that.
My feeling is like, okay, if you want to say defense, but even offensive line, man, like Taylor Decker's
but there's no one available out there. Josh Reynolds is the best available.
If you're
like,
gonna
you add wherever you can, you don't just
pick and choose. Like, if you add, you also have to take away though. If you add a guy to the practice squad, you're also having to take away.
But okay, you take away Donovan Peoples-Jones off the practice squad. Like, this isn't rocket science. And then if you need an offensive lineman, you take away another random guy on the practice squad. Like, this isn't crazy.
To contribute. Give me a guy that can actually contribute.
None of these guys are going to contribute anyways.
We see David Long get signed to the practice squad. We've seen guys this week with Quan Alexander get signed to the practice squad. I don't want that.
If there's an offensive lineman out there, if there's an offensive lineman out there that can contribute now, Brad Holmes would have signed him. That's my point. And it's just like defensively when you just saw all these different guys get signed defensively because Brad thinks that they can compete and they can help. Just because you're like, okay, this is our priority. Boom, 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 boom. There's not an offensive lineman available right now to help us, but there's a wide receiver just in case. You know what? No, let's skip on him because this is the need. But there's no needs out. There's no players out there to help this. Like, come on. Like, you can't just pass. Like, signing Josh Reynolds to the practice squad will not affect you signing an offensive lineman to the practice squad to help the Taylor.
If he's signed to the, like I said, if he's signed to the practice squad, I'm not going to be throwing a fit. But my point is, I would much rather see that. That's literally what I said. I said that
is literally the argument, Klotz. I think you've made up an argument of people being like, he needs to come in and be on the starter.
I'm going to pull the Booner card here. It's important to listen. It's important to listen. Now, like I said at the beginning, my point
yelling at the beginning.
You just talk. My whole point is, if you're adding a guy to the practice squad, what is he actually going to contribute? If you're going to elevate him like you see with his linebacker room, not much.
Never add anyone then to the practice squad, to your point.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Go ahead.
Nope. He said never.
What I said. Don't ever add anybody there.
Yeah.
Klotz, literally, what you're saying.
You add corner, you add linebacker, you add defensive tackle, you add offensive lineman, you add so many more positions, in my opinion. If you want to bring in Josh Reynolds, that's fine. What I'm saying is he's not going to bring anything to this offense. He's not.
If a guy gets hurt, I would like Josh Reynolds is a legit option.
He's a catch. I think Allen Robinson for where Josh Reynolds, there's not a huge gap between Josh Reynolds and Allen Robinson. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
There's just not.
That's on you then.
No.
Jeff, I know you have to at least be on the side. Like, that's nuts. Like, that's just where you're just like dead wrong.
Okay.
I hate to say it.
I will say
we don't need him on the offense right now, but that is a depth piece that is like
the thing I'm curious about is like what Josh Reynolds' view on this whole thing would be. Like, if he came to the Lions, what does he think his role would be, versus what it'll actually be. Like, I think the difference is Allen Robinson is perfectly okay with knowing he will not play unless there's like opportunities for him to play. If Josh thinks he will play, I'm out unless there's an injury. Like, because I like Tim Patrick. I will say this. I like what Timmy P's bringing. I like how the offense is. And obviously, Josh wouldn't replace. I mean, he could play different spots, I guess, on the offense. So maybe he would fill in a little bit of Khalif Raymond, what he could bring. But, like, he's not the same wide receiver. I'm cool with it. Like, I'm cool if they sign him. I don't mind it. But, again, like, how much Josh Reynolds are you actually going to see? I think we could all agree.
That's where
there's an injury. Yeah, we wouldn't see.
Listen, like they're like he's not playing over Tim Patrick or nothing. Like it's more so like knock on wood. Like if a Tim Patrick goes down, okay, hey, we do have Josh Reynolds here. Like and that's where it is, and that's what Klotz like the argument would do. It's from what I said at the beginning, it feels like maybe you're yelling at a random. Maybe I missed the people on Twitter that are saying it. I have not seen one person be like, bring in Josh Reynolds over Tim Patrick. I have not seen that.
No,
but to have a guy Like, dude, we sign the most random dudes on the practice squad every week. And for you to be like, I don't want Josh Reynolds on there because you can get an offensive lineman. It's like, dude, they literally bring like players that they bring on the practice squad this week and cut next week. Like, it is a rotating. If you get a guy like Josh Reynolds, who was your wide receiver 2 8 months ago on a playoff run, and you can just throw, like, you were going to pay him $6 million a year, and you could just throw him on your practice squad in case Tim Patrick goes. Tim Patrick's old, guys. He's an injured. He's got injury his whole career. If that somehow happens in the next 4 or 5 weeks,
yeah, very well.
Josh Reynolds is a great person to pull up and be like, okay, now we have our wide receiver 2 from last year sitting in our 3-4 spot.
You know what I think happens? You know what I think happens? I could see like the Bucks claiming him or something. Some other team
with no Chris Godwin.
Yeah, just so I don't even know if he'll clear waivers, but I don't know.
You see what I'm saying, Klotz? I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just saying like the
No, I see what my whole point is. The people that are, and I know it's not you. I'm saying to people because there are people out there. There's been people in the chat.
I argue with Booner about this. The Twitter people. Booner does that,
and that's where I'm like, I haven't seen it. So like when I see Klotz do this stuff, I'm like,
they need to bring him home. There's people like they need to bring him. Like they need him. It's like no,
they need defensive linemen. I agree with that.
Yes, like it's like option number. If you made a list of priorities, Josh Reynolds. Good addition. I'm not saying that Josh Reynolds would come here and take a shit and be a bum. Like when I think of Josh Reynolds, I don't think about the NFC Championship game. I think about the inside the 20, him high point a ball over the middle to Jared Goff on like an over route or something like that. Like I like what Josh Reynolds did here, but it's just the whole point of Josh Reynolds added this offense. There's nothing broad. I think there's players out there. I couldn't name you off the top of my head. I'm not going to go back and do that right now.
This is where I want you to understand
there's players around there that if you want to bring them to the practice squad, fine. I think there's players around the league that could make more of a difference to this team if you're going to make a move like that.
This is where I want to understand too, and Claude, and I hope you understand my point of coming back at you with this is like we need more on defense, guys. They brought so many reinforcements on defense, and yes, 100%. If there was an opportunity to go out and get more guys defensively, for depth, I would be in for that. But again, like you can't just be like, no, I don't want to bring back depth on offense or depth on special teams because we only need like Brad's been very like, you have to build a full team. Like if you have an opportunity to bring depth in at a different spot with the potential, and like Khalif Raymond went down, like you have an opportunity to bring guys in at specific spots in case an injury happens, you do it. Like it's one of those things. Like Brad looked at it in the offseason with certain guys on the depth chart. Would you rather have this guy in free agency or this guy on the depth chart? Would you guys rather have Josh Reynolds in the practice squad or DPJ on the practice squad?
Well, I think
Josh Reynolds.
Sure.
Exactly. So that's my point with like the people in the chat saying, well, you need defense. Dude, like this isn't like Madden to where it's like, oh, all our defensive guys go down. We need to fill up the roster defensively. Like you can still replace offensive guys and add that depth.
Do you understand the point? I brought it up earlier, like the difference between a DPJ and Allen Robinson and them understanding what they are versus like if you sign Josh to the practice squad, he's gonna get elevated. Like he expects
at some point, at some point he will.
He's not a guy like DPJ. He'll just chill on the practice squad for the whole year. Like,
but that's a good thing though. That means you're upgrading at a position. If you bring him in, that means like
he would probably be like it'd be like Allen Robinson essentially. He'd be replacing. But he would have to know if here's the contingency. I don't hate it, even though I prefer defensive players. I don't mind it, but he has to know you're not going to play unless there's an injury. Like I'm not.
For sure.
He's not coming into being like, all right, JMO, let me have some targets. All right, Tim Patrick, let me get some targets. All right, Amon-Ra, I'm gonna take a couple targets. Like, no, dude, you're gonna sit there. You're not gonna play because this offense is buzzing without you. And if there's an injury to Tim Patrick or someone, I'm 100% down with him being the next man up. But he ain't gonna just walk in here and get targets.
That's where I'm confused about the people saying that he should come in for Tim Patrick. Like that's why if you guys see that, if anyone in the chat, Klotz, if you see it, message me on Twitter. Klotz, text it to me. I would love to see anyone who says that because I would like to make sure I put them on my list over here that I have on my phone of non-football knowers.
The tally going.
I already have the tally. There's some people in the chat already on it.
It's nice being on the other side of the Twitter people. I hear about these Twitter people. They piss Booner off too. He goes off about these people on Twitter too. Everyone's doing it. It happens.
It is nice to know, like, hey, I'm not seeing this. Why am I not seeing this?
Yeah, you're like, I didn't see it.
I will say sometimes when I say the Twitter people, I'll call it out. Sometimes I make that up. No, I never saw it. I'm just making it. That's why I asked.
I know.
That's why I asked Klotzy. I'm like, Klotzy, I'm being honest. If you had, are we making this up or are we seeing it? Because if we're seeing it, I need to see it too.
Because there's people like that are acting like Josh Reynolds is going to come back and he should instantly just take snaps. I'm like,
no way.
If he gets signed, he does not even have the right to just automatically and people are acting like just start over Allen Robinson. No, bro. Like you could be here right now. You literally could be in this team if you wanted to, but you wanted to go make more money. Not that everybody wants to go make more money. That's fine. But there's also prices to pay for decisions you make. And that's one of them where it's like you're now at the bottom of the depth chart. And people were like,
what I will say is this is where we disagree. I think he's better than Allen Robinson.
Me too. And Klotz, I know I said earlier in the show, if you think you're taking Allen Robinson over or over at Josh Reynolds, I said it.
I just don't.
I said you're an idiot. Like that's not calling names. I'm just being honest.
But what does Josh Reynolds bring to this offense that Allen Robinson does not? And that's my
Klotz.
That's
it's
my
more
point
so
of why there's not
Allen
a gap.
Robinson's like past his he's done. Josh Reynolds, like last year, you got 600 yards out of him. Maybe he's going through an injury. Things just didn't work out in Denver. Like within the last 8 months, you got 600 plus yards out of Josh Reynolds. You would never get that out of Allen Robinson. Like at least with Josh, like if he shows up, you can maybe get a couple catch. Like you're like Allen could get a catch, dude. He's played snaps this year. I haven't seen the man touch the ball.
Hey, he's got catch
maybe one,
two. I think two.
Dude,
I know.
Josh Reynolds had like 60 last year.
No, and I absolutely get what you're saying, Booner, and I'm agreeing. My point is like statistically, and like as far as age, I'm saying when they're actually on the field, though, I don't think they're providing difference of value whatsoever.
Klotz,
if
Tim Patrick went down, again, knock on wood, and you said, let's do two different universes here. One where Allen Robinson steps in and one where Josh Reynolds steps in. Josh Reynolds is giving you more production than Allen Robinson would. He did it last year. That is a fact. No, that's a fact.
If Josh Reynolds' stat line is going to be 2 for 25, Allen Robinson might be 2 for 19. That's my point. Like they're not. You're acting like it's less. Neither of those guys.
It's so different, dude. Oh my gosh.
I really.
These are one of those moments where your ball nowhere card. I get a question mark on it, and I go, "What's happening here?"
You're going to say, but when you look at what will they actually change? Like we're acting like Josh Reynolds had a 100-yard game. Like Josh Reynolds' biggest game in Detroit was probably like 80 yards.
Klotz.
Allen Robinson won't have that, but Josh Reynolds is a wide receiver too. If Tim Patrick goes down, Josh Reynolds will go as a wide receiver 3. He's going to be the wide receiver 4 as far as targets goes. He's not going to get a game where he has more than.
Josh Reynolds had a 93-yard game this year.
Okay, I'm saying in this offense, he was supposed to be the wide receiver 2 in Denver, and now he's
200 yards this season alone.
Booner, we're talking about him in the Detroit Lions offense. If you put him in this offense,
if you put him back in the same spot from last year, essentially, like or like a number 3 spot, he's gonna do more than Allen Robinson would do.
But that's not the case. The case is they're wide receiver 4s. They bring different skill sets. Allen Robinson, without a doubt, even if he's washed, is a way better route runner than Josh Reynolds ever has been. Josh Reynolds cannot run routes. Both of them can block. They both have reliable hands. The thing that Josh Reynolds has, he's just a little bit bigger and he has the chemistry.
You could break down route running and try and get all technical and sound all smooth you want. Josh Reynolds would do way. Josh Reynolds would have be way better than Allen Robinson.
We'll call it.
I'm genuinely shocked. We're talking about a guy that had 600 yards in this offense.
We'll call it there. 600
yards and 5 touchdowns.
15 minutes on Josh Reynolds is enough time. All right, that is enough time.
That's great. I'm in a blender. I don't even know what to think.
Boone. I want to get to the over-unders.
I don't even have them ready. I mean, let me pull some up.
Josh Reynolds shook him up. Come on.
Can we do the top 5 instead? Top 5. I guess it's up to you guys. We could do over.
I was saying because I have the lines pulled up.
Yeah, I can pull them.
They're actually out already. Yeah, they're out.
Yeah, they are. I'll pull it up.
All right.
That was thrilling, though. Hey, shout out to people in the chat, even the people that hate me.
Yeah, I laugh. No, just you know what? Don't send anyone to the practice squad. Never. Hey, just don't add anyone. Boone's like, you just don't want to sign anyone to the practice squad.
That's what it feels like, man. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I love that, boys. Yeah, eventually.
When John Hughes says Allen Robinson has more than double the yards and touchdowns, What are we talking about? Career? We're talking about the last 2 years. We're not talking about career.
Yeah, Allen Robinson. What I mean, dude,
Allen Robinson was great in the NFL a couple years ago. I mean, he's way past that though. Like, what are we talking? Come on, hey.
I know we're not doing this. We're seeping back into it.
John, come on. Well, John's like someone who will like try and come at me, and it's like, hey, I'm gonna call you out, John. You don't know, hey.
Hey, Tyler said,
check
let's try and bring
yourself.
Jamal Williams back. Yeah, let's bring
I'll
him
pass
back.
on that one. We've got.
Let's bring back the whole game. Why not?
Jeez.
Why not? Let's bring back Evan Brown. Very fine backup guard.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Evan Brown. I forgot about that guy.
Evan
Jamal
Brown.
Williams.
Hey, you bring back all those guys. You bring back Josh Reynolds 5 times before you bring back Will Harris. We can break bread there.
And Michael
Even
Lucci
with the
said
injuries
Jerry
in the
Rice has a
secondary.
ton of yards in his career. Let's bring him back. Like that's essentially.
Hey, this is Booner's JJ Watt take all over again.
No,
That's
it's not. That's what John Hughes is saying. Allen Robinson has more total yards in his career, so let's play him. Like, what are
Hey,
you
John
talking
says,
about,
I
John?
also celebrate with you too, Booner.
All right, fair enough, John. But hey, when you're against me,
Shout
I'm against you.
Hey, shout out you, John.
Shout out, John. But hey, I'm
hey,
glad,
Tyler
John.
said, let's bring back Joe Harrington.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we can bring back Herm. Herm might be. He might have a little left to give. Who knows?
Ndamukong Suh,
Hey,
did you guys
put
see
Lowe
that?
out there. Big Low out there with Taylor Decker's out.
Did you guys
Come
see
on now.
the Sue tweet?
Yeah.
The what?
No.
Ndamukong Suh, he tweeted at King.
Oh, I did see that.
Oh yeah. I did see that.
Put the little eyes emojis. Maybe he is coming back.
I'm good on Sue, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Last
if
year
you
was
want to
the
talk
year.
about a guy that like I really like.
Well, now you won't take Sue to the practice squad?
No way.
Yeah,
Hey, you
he's
bring
like
Reynolds
giving
over
financial advice, or real estate advice on Twitter. Like he's not.
Sue is?
Yeah, he's like a big investor. Like he's doing good. He's out there investing, making moves. But like
Well,
that dude you ain't bringing him back to the Lions, bro.
Sign
is
him
he-
to Crunch Time Sports.
yeah. See,
Do your content on here, man.
yeah. Yep. All right, you got the lines?
Yeah, all right. Let's start. Can we get some music going?
Yep, I already got held. Ready? Let's go.
We gotta get some new music, by the way. We keep saying it. We just got to do it. I don't know where we get it at. We can figure that out. Get some beats. All right. Over unders. Green Bay Packers in Detroit at Ford Field versus the Detroit Lions. Let's start this. Let's just make this easy, fellas. And in the chat, you guys all play along as well. We're gonna start passing. We'll start receiving, and then we'll go rushing. We'll go straight through it, and then we'll do a couple defensive ones. Let's start off though. Passing. Jared Goff, the only one we're gonna do for him. Over under 243.5 total yards, fellas. Over 243.5 in the dome in Ford Field. Nice. Hey, no weather problems, nothing like the last game, and he played well the last game, fellas. And the defense is beat up, so he's going to have to do something. I'm going to say this. I'll just start us off here just so you guys know. Just give me the over. I think Jared Goff almost throws for over 300 yards. So 243, I feel like, is the easiest play of the week.
I mean, last year he threw for 332 on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
He also threw 44 times.
Shout out Josh Reynolds.
Yeah. yeah.
How many yards did Josh Reynolds have?
he had like 12 yards. No, I'm just joking.
He had 2 catches, 15 yards. That's what he had in Green Bay, though.
What do you
3
have?
catches, 69 yards.
Wow, nice.
Great number.
All right.
Oh, sorry, he had a touchdown versus the Packers at home last year.
Give me the over.
Allen Robinson's not scoring the tutty.
Give me
Boone,
the
you
over.
said this is total yards, so rushing included.
No, passing only 243.5.
I can't do it. No, he'll go over. I think he's good for probably 270 this week. I don't know if he's going to throw for 300 because no Taylor Decker, less time in the pocket, a little bit more uncomfortable. They try to run on the ground a little bit more, but he'll clear 240, whatever it was. Give me that.
Yep,
over.
I'm with you. Over.
All right, another bet I have here I want to hand out to the people. The longest odds to score a touchdown, dead last on the list, behind Ben Sims, Malik Heath, John Fitzpatrick, Bo Melton, Shane Zylstra, Brock Wright, Sione Vaki, the very dead last guy on the list. Plus 2,200. Allen Robinson, are you taking him to score a touchdown?
Yeah, give me AR.
I swear he is dead last on the list.
What?
Yeah, you watch now.
The
And
distance.
there's Bo Melton, Ben Sims. I don't even know who Ben Sims is. Ben Sims is higher than him.
He's
Very fine tight end. Very
tight
fine
end.
tight end.
I mean, they got 8 tight ends in Green Bay. So.
Hey, Ben Sims, household name, Boone. household.
know.
If you know ball,
No.
you know
If you actually
No.
watch the NFL, if you actually pay attention
No.
and study the NFL,
We're not
you know who
doing
Ben
this.
Simmons
I'm gonna mute both of you.
I don't know who the
Hey,
hell.
hey, this is
You're
my
an
show
idiot.
now.
You're an
This is my
idiot.
segment.
You're an idiot if you don't know who Ben Simmons is.
No,
All
no,
right.
we all agree Goff's gonna ball. I think Goff's gonna.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a lot of offense. There's gonna be a lot of points scored here. I think over. I'm looking at that over on Thursday.
I like the over in it. Yeah, the over for the game too. I'm with you. All right, receiving. Let's switch to receiving here. We'll just do Detroit Lions for now. Maybe I'll throw in a Green Bay Packers player. Let's do receiving yards though. Amon-Ra St. Brown over under fellas 67.5 yards. Now I'll tell you what, Amon-Ra has big games versus the Packers, touchdown wise. He doesn't always have a ton of yards. Like last game, he had a big game, 50-something yards. That was it. But his line is 67.5. What do you guys have?
Hefe, you want to? You want me to go first?
I would typically. I'd typically say maybe slightly under. Like I could see him get like 6 for 60 or something like that. Like that's kind of like that's kind of what Amon-Ra does against the Packers. But when you got a guy running his mouth like Xavier McKinney, I can't help but take that over. I think he's just gonna be like, "Give me the pill," and he's gonna get 90 to 100 yards. Give me the over.
Give me the over just because of what Jeff said, but also Jamison Williams being on the field. I think there's going to be even more occasions where what's the most just classic Detroit Lions pass play you ever see? 3rd and 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown running an out route, and Jared Goff just dotting it right before the sideline gets there. I think we're going to see that multiple times this week, as well as Amon-Ra over the middle, and Jamison's kind of getting Xavier McKinney out of there, giving him something else to worry about besides Amon-Ra St. Brown. Then he'll realize why you got to worry about Amon-Ra St. Brown when you're trying to tackle him. But I think Amon-Ra, I'm going to give him 8 for 80 and a tutty this week.
All right, we're smart bettors here, fellas. So I would like to know what you guys think about this one. Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed over under 46.5 yards. Are you guys taking that or not? He had like 115 last game versus the Lions, but his last 3 games, fellas, in the Dolphins game, he had 23 catches, 24 yards. 49ers, 3 catches, 26 yards, and versus Chicago, 2 catches for 23 yards. So he has been struggling a little bit, and that was all after the Lions game. 3 straight games since the Lions game, he's gone under this line like big time. But 46.5, what do you guys think?
You know what, Booner, I want to compliment you. I think you're a pro because you just led that up like suspensefully. But he's hitting the over. Like that dude is cashing the over. Like he did it. He did it in Green Bay. But he's just one of those guys. The Lions just, I don't know. It's like a game of matchups, and for some reason they just can't stop Jaden Reed. I don't know what it is. He's already a really good player. Yeah, he's just like hard to keep in check. Like I can see him getting 4 for 70 this week. Like I can see him getting a touchdown. Like I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team. In the injuries in that corner, a couple guys banged up. I'm gonna go over on Jaden Reed.
Yeah, I really like Jaden Reed. Honestly, he reminds me a lot of Wes Welker, just the way that he plays, but he's more of a deep threat. He's got more wheels. When you look at this injured linebacker room and no guys stepping in, Jaden Reed's a beast over the middle, and they're going to take a couple of shots to him. The injuries they have with the secondary right now going on, and then you look in that linebacker room, I just think he finds a way to get like 5-6 catches. He's definitely going to get over 46 yards. And they've been feeding him in the red zone. Like he's been getting touchdowns in a lot of those games, so he's been happy. He's a guy they're going to try to get in rhythm, so I think he has a good chance to get over 46 yards. So I'm going to take the over on that as well.
Ooh, I like that. I don't hate both of them, fellas. Next player here, we're going to stick with receiving yards. All right. Could be due for a game. I've been waiting for this man to step up, fellas. Sam Laporta has been struggling a little bit with yards. Last week he had 2 touchdowns, though. His line right now is 34.5. Would you guys go over under 34.5 with Sam Laporta? Is this one of those games he finally steps up and gets some yards?
Laporta, he finds a way to just show out in big games. I don't know. I might be a psycho. I know what everyone's thinking. Jeff, look at what he's been doing. He just hasn't quite been what he was his rookie year. He's coming off a game where he had under 10 yards, guys.
2 tutties, though.
He got 2 of them.
Happy man.
It's true. He got the touchdowns last week. I hit the over on Goff. So give me the over on Laporta. Give me the over. I like it.
Love the enthusiasm. You guys know I'm a Laporta guy. But what did I say last week? I don't know if we did this line last week. It was something Laporta related. And I just said, no, I got to see it until it happens. And last week, great touchdowns. I love that. You had 6 yards, though. So if we're talking about yards-wise, 34, I know it's like you'd want to be like, it's Laporta, it's going to happen, divisional game, gritty game, NFC North game, over the middle. Laporta takes him 2 catches. I haven't seen it in a long time, guys, and it's not the talent of Laporta that I'm doubting. It's the injuries, and I just don't think that he's fully healthy. I think when you have the injuries to the Kenny Clark type of situation and try to run the ball, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They didn't have J-Mo last time. I just think there's got to be a time for Sam Laporta to kind of heal up before he gets that over. So I love Laporta, but I got to see it, man. He's banged up.
Yeah, I think he has been going through stuff, but I mean, listen, at some point, Laporta's got to step up. I think he's going to. Like, down the stretch, you need your best players to step up. Let this man get healthy, and he might be healthy now, and eventually he's going to have to start playing football, because offensively you're going to have to start moving forward here a little bit, and he's going to have to be a piece of that. I will take the over, by the way, if you were wondering, Klotz.
You're kind of not doing some of these? Is it because of Friday or Wednesday, or is that what's going on?
I mean, I'm just going with the flow here, brother. If I feel like, I like this one, I'll tell you the over. If not, I just won't say anything. I'll let you guys cook a little bit.
Scared? Right. You scared?
I'm trying to throw you guys some moves.
Caleb, hold on. Green Bay's bad against tight ends. I'm
trying to throw you guys some moves. You guys don't want me to throw you guys oops?
Brock Wright legacy game.
Yeah, Caleb's not wrong. The last game, Sam Laporta had 2 catches for 28 yards.
What happened, Bill?
Okay, let's. Yeah. Well, hold on. The passing game wasn't on point in Green Bay.
Yeah, okay. Right? Oh yeah. No, you're right. Only 145 yards total passing, so that's fair. That makes sense.
So if he gets 300, that's
doubles 40. Yeah, he goes over.
40. Yeah.
All right, let's go running backs here real quick, fellas. We'll do both of the running backs. Let's start with Jahmyr Gibbs. Instead of rushing, I'm going to do all-purpose yards for him. Last time, I think he had 70-something, maybe 75 all-purpose yards versus the Green Bay Packers. And that was a game, fellas. I know it was bad weather, but where they relied on the run game, and they relied on Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Packers held him to about 75 all-purpose yards. Going into on Thursday, rushing and receiving, Jahmyr Gibbs' line is at 88.5. Are you guys taking that over, or are you guys staying under?
Oh, good God. I dare you. I'm
gonna go over. Yeah, I was like, David Montgomery. No, I'm just joking.
The last time he didn't hit this line was versus the Packers, and he was like 15 short.
Maybe I reconsider. Maybe
go ahead.
I'm going. No, I'm gonna go.
Go ahead.
Wait. You said, what was it?
88.5.
I'm gonna go under.
You suck. And it makes no sense. Why would you ever do that? Why? Jahmyr Gibbs is just on an absolute tear right now. Do we remember?
Hey, the up-down theory.
Do we remember the play of the game in Green Bay when it was a pick six? Okay, so what does that do? Takes the offense off the field. Like we talked about it, it's in a dome. Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 87 rushing yards, whatever it was, off 9 carries last week. The streak that he is on is not stopping this week in Ford Field. Over. He's gonna abuse that line. He's gonna make it look like Ryan Day on the sideline. It's gonna be pathetic. That 88, get it out of here. No, over. That's
all right, you guys ready?
That's the line, like on sports books.
88.5, yeah.
Let's make some money, boys.
All right, next one here. Let's do David Montgomery. His line, guys, and I'll say this, and I'll set you guys up a little bit here with David Montgomery. D-Mont is currently sitting at 720 total rushing yards on the year. To hit 1,000 total yards, he needs to get 56 yards for the next 5 games to hit 1,000, which like those guys are looking at this. You guys remember last year how they were trying to get both of those guys at 1,000. This year, they're both way closer. They're both right there to do it. Gibbs obviously will most likely do it. D-Mont's the one where he has to kind of catch up a little bit. Again, he needs 56 yards per game for the next 5 games to hit it. He had 73 yards versus the Packers last game. His line right now is right at 56. The yardage that he needs is at 56.5. Does he go over or under, fellas, after having 70 plus on them last game?
Is this rushing?
Rushing, yes.
Hammer it. Hammer the over.
There we go.
Hammer the over. What did Dusty say when he joined the show? We asked Dusty.
They can't tackle him.
Can't tackle him. They said, what running back scares him more? He said Jameer's talented. Jameer's a home run hitter. But Demont, he's just the bruiser. The 4-yard, 5-yard carry guy, consistent. Give me Demont to hit the over.
Over. This is easy. He always abuses the Packers. It's David Montgomery. Over.
That's what I mean. Hey, can you guys talk a little bit more? I'm trying to work over here. I'm working.
Hey, I'm working here.
I'm working. I thought you guys were going to talk a little more. I want to elaborate a little bit.
He's Googling Demo's games right now. He's like, shit, what do you have last couple
I was typing something
comedy.
Working. You guys want to elaborate a little bit more, huh?
It looked like one of those, like you hack someone's camera while they're working.
That's what was happening.
You see the lights are on the camera flash at him.
I'm working here. No, I'm like, honestly, and I want this to be very clear. Like the Jameer under. Let me explain.
It's so distant, dude. You did that out of spite. You did that out of spite.
Why can't he get 60 rushing yards, 20 receiving? That's still under.
Jeff, go look at what he's done over the past month and a half.
Again, Klotz. I'm not with you. I think he will go over, and I'll probably take him to get 100 yards. To Jeff's point, though, it's like over the last 4 weeks, he's done good. But if you do look at his last game where he went under that line, he went 15 under that line, it was versus the Green Bay Packers. So, like, if you were going to have any
offense, we just talked about Jared Goff, though.
You're saying the whole offense D-Mont had over his line. Why?
They use D-Mont in the muddy conditions. Duh. What do you expect?
I'm just saying, Klotz.
Anyway,
I don't think it's as crazy as you think.
Game this week, fellas.
I just do not think it's as
crazy
as you
offensive
think.
game. Jameer Gibbs.
I don't think it's
David
as crazy
Montgomery. So does David Montgomery.
Hey,
If this was Joe Mixon, if this was Aaron Jones, if this was Saquon Barkley,
He's
Derrick
arguing
Henry,
with the random Twitter people that aren't real right now.
I'm looking at Jeff. He said, "I'll take the under." If it was any other top
I don't
8
think
running
it's
back
as crazy
league,
as you think. I don't think it's as crazy as you think it is. That's where I'm
it is.
Go.
It's insane.
All right.
We'll see on Thursday.
Did you forget J-Mo? What happened to J-Mo?
I did the players I wanted to do. We'll save some more for tomorrow. We'll save some more for Thursday.
I like it.
Because we got top 10 Thursday. We're a little, hey, let's get to
yeah.
Or Tuesday, top 10 Tuesday.
You're right.
Wait, actually, hold on. You know what? Wait, hold on. I want to see one more.
He's like Allen Robinson. His over under.
We're good. I was looking for defense, but there's no defense.
Allen Robinson's like 5.5.
Jake Bates over 7.5 points. Give me the over.
Yeah. Offense, you could pretty much hit all overs on offense, except some.
We should just do it like one of those parlays again, like the Titans game or whatever that game was, where it was like maybe it wasn't Titans. It was who was it? Jags. The Jags game. We just parlayed like everyone,
and everyone just cashing.
Yeah. I like every single person that like texts me or like I talked to in like person that bet the Jags game was like, dude, I hit my parlay, and I was like, I think everyone did. Like if you didn't hit your parlay that day, I'm revoking your ball knower card.
Boone's in charge of the ball knower card.
Yeah, it's like the library. Like I'm the one that hands them out.
You would be you'd be the worst librarian in the world. You're so loud.
Well, that's my library. I can do what I want.
You'd be the janitor who has all the keys on his little keychain there, but you got the key to like the master safe. Like,
you guys remember the Silent Library show?
Great show.
Greatest show.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
I am watching that. Gonna indulge.
Dude, that's
get
a
very
great
tired and relax. I'm watching some sound.
One of the greatest shows of all time.
I'd rather watch that than the Pistons get their ass kicked. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, by the way, they lost, dude. That's unbelievable.
Poor Caleb, bro. Put his information out there like that too today. He had a lot on the line.
Yeah,
he said, "Hey, Klotzy, put it on TikTok and put some music behind it."
Caleb said, "Booner said 3 nice things about the Pistons or take your hat."
Hey, I texted Caleb. I texted our group chat. I said, "You know what? That parlay losing, Caleb. It's on me."
Oh man,
I'll say I've been in a hole lately on betting apps, and I tail a parlay, it loses. There's no coincidence. It's no coincidence there. You know,
Hey, you didn't take that Bengals one and it hit. Thank
and
you.
it hit. It's me for sure. So
I
Caleb,
knew when
as a teammate of yours, it's on me. It's on me. All right, you want to get to top 10 Tuesday?
Yeah.
That's
We haven't
why
done
I'm
this in 2
interested to
weeks, boys.
see.
I'm excited. Updated.
I'm interested to see, and I'm not arguing. I just like, we haven't done it for a week, so I just want to see, like, it's just like a fresh slate. Like, where do the boys have each team? We don't
All
really
right.
like, maybe we'll argue a little bit.
Klotzy, you go first. We'll get yours
I'm
up first.
flowing.
All right, Klotzy. Klotzy, talk to me here. What do we got?
Chief hate's back, boys. The Chief hate is back. I don't care. We'll start it off. Number 10. Jeff, you didn't put it in there. Told you to put Cy.
Hey, I
Number-
tried. It looked
Hey,
weird. You
hey,
have to.
All right. All right. It's all
It's
right.
on me.
The Minnesota Vikings are number 10. I really did not want to put them in my top 10.
That's
but
crazy, dude.
default because I knew this reaction was coming, but it is true. It does have validity. They're what, 9-2, two, and I think they're frauds.
10-2. They've won 10 games already.
10-2. Thank you, Boone. But I just really do not think that they're a good team. I think if they were to play any of these teams up here, I could see them if you want to put them at 9, but I think like the Vikings, they would have success. Ravens, all these teams would beat the Vikings. I could see if you want to flip them with the Commanders. I'd get that. Commanders, though, when I was looking at my list, they were at 8 before. So I'm dropping them a spot compared to where, or they were way higher before, but that's sort of
They were 10 before for you.
Okay, they were 10. Yeah, because that's what we got in the fight. So I'm gonna raise them one, but basically same spot. I think what I saw to Jaden Daniels this weekend, and Tennessee's defense is good. Like they have a good defense, but I just think they're gonna start getting their rhythm back. And I think he's starting to get healthier. He was definitely dealing with some injuries, but I really like what Brian Robinson's doing as well. I just think Washington's a good team. They're not going to be in that elite category. They're not going to be in the top 5 like I had them at one point, but I still think they're top 10 team in the NFL. I think them and the Vikings are very close. So however you want to flip them. 8, I really don't like the Chargers at 8. I wanted to put them higher, but that loss that they just had to the Ravens, I can't put them above the Ravens, but I love what the Chargers are doing. Lad McConkey's really starting to turn it up, and they're even doing this without J.K. Dobbins. So Jim Harbaugh, he's having himself a year. That Chargers team's going to be good right now. This is the worst the Chargers are going to be for a long time. So I like them at 8. 7, I got the Ravens. You guys know I'm not high on the Ravens. That defense is ass. Lamar is great. Derrick Henry is great. Mark Andrews is figuring it out. But I still don't think they have a solid option in that receiving core to beat elite offenses. And Lamar, he kind of great athlete, not a great arm. He has a good arm, but not a great arm. But you look at the quarterback in the NFC North with Jordan Love. I think he's better than Lamar Jackson. Boone?
No, I'm talking to Jeff. Sorry.
Oh, okay, got you. But when you look at Jordan Love, I think he's the better quarterback right now. I think Matt LaFleur is the better coach currently over John Harbaugh. Defenses, not even a question. And on the run game, Josh Jacobs is doing his thing. They have more options at wide receiver. So that's why I have the Packers over the Ravens. At 5, I have the Chiefs, boys. I cannot continually look at this team and say that they are better than the Steelers, the Philadelphia Eagles, Buffalo Bills, or Detroit Lions because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. That team, even defensively, does not look like they were last year. So right now, the Chiefs, they have a chance to go win the Super Bowl. Absolutely. But right now, I just do not think they're playing their best football. Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson just threw for 400 fucking yards. I understand it was against the Bengals defense, who is terrible. Terrible. But Russell Wilson throwing for 400 yards. Najee Harris is looking really good. George Pickens has scored I don't know how many straight games. TJ Watt's TJ Watt. Mike Tomlin's Mike Tomlin. I don't think there's much to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are damn fucking good. And so are the Philadelphia Eagles. My thing is with Philadelphia compared to like Buffalo and Detroit, I don't like their coaching right now as far as the head coaching with Sirianni goes. And like I said earlier, there's always that time of the year where Philly, they kind of just decay towards the longer the season goes. So that's why I have them at 3. You look at the Buffalo Bills. I almost put the Bills. I cannot talk right now. The Bills at 1, boys. But I just think you can't knock the Lions off until they lose. But the Bills and Lions, I think, are like 1A, 1B. So that's my top 10. What do you think, boys?
All right. I'm going to address this right off the top. And listen, I messaged Jeff this on the side and backstage here. I just want to address this because our big argument when we did top 10s last time. And all I ask is just for you guys to be like, all right, Boone, you might have been right. Coming off of a win, they just won this last week. You guys both, and the big argument was I took the Texans out of my top 10, and you both had them in your top 10 over the Chargers, Packers, Commanders, and over the Vikings and Packers for Jeff. And I said there is no way in this world that this Texans team, the way they've looked over the last 6 weeks, should be in the top 10. I'm interested to know And I don't know if Jeff has him in his top 10. I would hope he does if he was one of the ones that argued with me about it. After coming off of a win, like they won after our argument, where it comes to where he's just all of a sudden, after we went screaming match for 20 minutes about it, all of a sudden, just for no reason, it's just, hey, they're out. Because that's what's crazy to me. Like, and if you guys are like Booner, I kind of agree with you. I would just love to hear, like, okay, maybe Boone, you were right. Like maybe
you were right. No, you were right. And I think what I was anticipating is when Nico Collins came back, CJ Stroud was going to look different, and he doesn't. I honestly think that CJ Stroud just in a sophomore slump. And when you look at him, like they beat the Jags by 2, and Trevor Lawrence left early. They almost let Mac Jones beat them. Like there's no way. Like that was my thing with the Vikings. Like they almost let Mac Jones beat them. That's terrifying. So you were right, Boone. Defensively, they got dudes, but I don't know. There's just, like I said, it's like one of those teams where it's like you build a team and it doesn't work out. And I know you guys kind of agreed to a certain point. And I thought the Texans were going to be good, but I thought they might struggle to win their own division, mostly because I was high on the Colts. But I just think culture-wise, it looks great from the outside, but on the inside, it's not as good as it looks.
And by the way, too, Coach Watt, I'm not a narcissist. It's just we had these. That was, and I know you guys remember that argument. That might have been one of the biggest arguments we've had over the football season was the Texans over the Vikings. And I'm just like, all right.
Hey, well,
I'm glad that the boys, we can go back and watch that and just be like, all right, things came to fruition a little bit here.
We had another argument we're not mentioning. It's weird.
What?
We have to have a deal here. Eye for an eye. I'll admit you were right about.
I'm just taking an L in both of these. Fuck.
Hey, I'll admit I'll admit you were right about the Texans if you admit you were wrong about the Commanders, and I was right about the Eagles.
Boone.
He won't do it.
I'll say this: the reason I took the Commanders out is since we've done our last one, they lost to the Cowboys, who I'm very down on, and then they did win this week, but they lost to the Cowboys. That was so. I will say, I'm not gonna say because I still think the Commanders will make the playoffs and get a wild card spot. I still think they sneak in. But I
don't think they're bad. I just said
Eagles or Commanders.
Oh, right now, okay, 100%. Eagles are better than Commanders right now. Yeah, they'll win the division.
You just gave away a whole narrative you had, Boone.
Oh, I still think the thing is with the Commanders is I still think they win or they go to the playoffs.
You take your W. Because you called them being in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I'll take that all day. For sure.
I'm not taking that away from you.
I get what you're saying.
Eagles, Commanders, you both said to me the Commanders.
Yes, I agree. Say that. And I agree.
Wait, Jeff.
We were wrong.
Actually, because I'm actually very interested to see if the Commanders aren't in there.
They are not. They went 1-1 since we.
Hold on, here's mine.
Okay.
Oh no, Booners.
Oh, this is mine. So yeah, I do not have the Commanders. They went 1-1. They lost, and this is where I go with it. They played the Cowboys and they lost. Like I'm very down on the Cowboys, and they got beat by them, and then they did win this last week. I just think like AFC wise, fellas, like there are some teams in the AFC, like the Broncos beat the Browns the other night. Like, dude, they looked good, and I do think the Commanders are going to be a playoff team. I just think like the AFC over there, they just have some absolute dogs. And like what the Broncos did to the Browns, and I know the Browns almost came back. Like that was a game.
Great
but
game.
Sean Payton has that team looking like a top 10 football team with a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. And I think it's almost like, for me at least, it's like impossible to like see what they've done over the last 8 weeks and be like, no, I'm not. Like they do deserve credit. Bo Nix looks good. Like he didn't play the best versus the Browns, but like that team looks really good. The Chargers, I think this is an easy one. Klotz, you had them at 8. I just have them at 9. I think they're extremely good. Like they're going to have a chance in the playoffs. Like you're not going to want to play a Jim Harbaugh coached Chargers team with Justin Herbert at quarterback and that defense that they have. Like you do not want to.
Agreed.
Like that. That's a lot. Like even like the Bills, like the Chiefs, any of those teams are going to be like, that's a tough matchup. Like that's a tough team. Number 8 though. I do have the Ravens. They lost to the Eagles, but they just keep dropping games. This is one of those things. I think, what do they have, 4 or 5 losses now? They're a good football team. And like, when you look at their roster as a whole, coaching, all of that, like they are a lethal team. If they put it all together, they'd be a top 3 team in the NFL right now, but they just cannot figure this thing out. 7, I have the 10-2 Vikings. Klotz, we can agree to disagree. You think they're frauds. I just think 10-2, like they just find a way to win. And I think like when it comes to the playoffs, they'll probably lose. But like if you match them up against anyone on here, like we saw them versus the Lions, like almost try and pull off a win down the stretch. Like if you saw them versus the Chiefs, the Eagles, Steelers, Packers, like they're gonna put up a fight and they're just gonna be in every game. They're just Kevin O'Connell has his team humming right now, and they're just finding ways to win football games. Number 6. And I want to say this about 6 and 7 with the Vikings and Packers. And Klotz, I think you had the Packers a little higher, correct?
I did. Yeah.
The reason I don't like the Packers and the Vikings, if you do look at their schedule, like they are beating up on, they're winning games where it's like teams that probably are in my bottom 10, like the Jags, the Colts, like teams that are like towards
Talking
the
about
bottom.
Vikings?
Both Packers and Vikings.
Yeah, but the
Like-
Packers just look better, man.
They look good. That's why I have them above the Vikings. Like they just eye test, they look better, but they've won like the Dolphins in the cold. Terrible team, a beat up 49ers team, a Bears team. They won by 1 that we just saw. A Jags team with I don't even know if Trevor Lawrence played in there. The Texans team that we beat. The Cardinals, who are actually decent. So like the last 3 or 4 wins they've had have been versus teams where it's like I probably have them in the bottom 15. Steelers, fellas, they're a top 5 team. Klotz, I think you had them at 4.
Yeah.
Undisputed
They're a
top 5
4
team. They're very, very good right now. And Mike Tomlin has his team rolling. Russell Wilson, he looks he doesn't look like prime Russell Wilson, but it's like a newly constructed Russell Wilson. Newly
figured him out.
constructed. And he knows like, hey, he's a little older. He has to play a new game. And he's figured out how to play this game and play it at an elite level. For the Eagles, I could have honestly, Klotz, I'm kind of with you. I almost could put the Eagles at 3 and flop the Chiefs and do that because the Eagles are playing incredible football as well. Chiefs, they just keep winning. For me, it's just hard. They're 11-1. They just keep winning games. And then I don't even need to go over the Bills and Lions. You guys know what it is with both of those teams.
Yep.
I don't want to get repetitive with everyone else.
No. The only thing I would say is, you'll see with my list, and you already kind of admitted to it. So honestly, I don't really have much of a bone to pick. I think you're a little. I think you're giving credit to the Vikings, and I understand it because they're
Sure.
they've won a ton of games. I feel a little different. I get the record, but they have like the most one-score games besides the Chiefs. I think the Vikings.
It's just so hard for me to
They're
put,
finding
like,
ways to win, so I will give you that. They
Yeah.
are finding, but it's crazy.
Boone.
It's like
I would-
trying to just for me real quick. It's just trying to find a way with the eye test and the losses as well. Like with the Vikings and the Ravens, like they're 7-8, so they're like interchangeable essentially. When you're that close, but like the Ravens have 5 losses and the Vikings have 2. So it's like, all right, I'm going to take into account the eye test. The Ravens obviously
Yeah, I get that.
probably win, but like you have 2 losses to 5 losses. Like it's hard for me to put a 5-loss team above a 2-loss team that in the league that's just continuing to get the job done. Like we could be like, oh, they're not good, and then next week they'll just go beat the Ravens or they'll go beat this team. It's just like they just keep doing it.
I was gonna absolutely cook you for the 4-3 pick, Boone, with the Eagles and Chiefs, but you kind of addressed it. The only thing I would say is I don't think there's any way that the Denver Broncos are better than the Washington Commanders, and I don't think you're gonna have too much of a hill. I just think when you look at that
close.
game
It's
last
very
night, as
close.
exciting as it was, like Jerry Jeudy had 200 yards. That's not happening again. And I'm sorry, but when you look at if Cleveland had a quarterback that knew how to do 1, 2, 3, they're winning that game.
You are acting like that, like saying that you're acting like the Broncos don't have a good defense. Like they might have got cut up once.
do.
That defense is like that was kind of a one-off for them.
Yeah.
That might have been because Jerry Jeudy was back in Denver and hey, like let's talk about it. Jameis Winston threw for 500 yards. But like also guess who won them the football game, Klotz?
That defense.
They had
No,
2
and
pick
it's not
sixes
even.
and 3 total
It's not.
interceptions.
I love their defense. It's not even that, but offensively
Suffocating.
they are bone dry. Like offensively, they're bone dry.
Let's get to my list. I'll pull mine up because it does fit the narrative here. Here's mine. I do agree 110%. The Chiefs are not better than the Eagles, and I don't think we're going to argue much about that. With how the Eagles are playing, this top 3 should be, in my opinion, consensus. Like I think these are the 3 best with how they're playing football right now. 3 best teams. Chiefs are winning, but then they have these games like they did against the Panthers. Where we're like, they might lose to like one of the worst teams in the league. It's super. I know Bryce came back late, but still, like 27 to Bryce Young, and he looked.
Hey, come on now! I told you that narrative's not dead.
After we pulled up your take, the dude's actually not playing too shabby. But here's mine. I agree with you. Broncos are 10 with how they're playing. I talked about it yesterday. Sean Payton, he's a nominee for Coach of the Year, certainly. And I think they're have a great defense. Bo Nix is playing with confidence. It's you could tell the game's slowing down for him. So I think the Broncos deserve, and Sean Payton deserves a lot of credit. 9 out of the Vikings. I get your points, Boone. The 3 we were talking about. I get your point about the Ravens. They have 5 losses. Like, I understand that. I've always said all year with the Vikings, or at least the last handful of weeks, and you would agree, they're frauds. But I get the respect on the win total. I guess I'm looking at it like if the Ravens and Vikings score it off right now, based on how the Vikings looked. I mean, Sam Darnold had 90 passing yards in like the third quarter. Like it's a super odd team. They like find ways to win, and it's hard.
5 losses to 2 losses either way in the NFL is just shocking.
I get that, but it's like trying to decipher between like, is all those 1-score games and winning good, or is it like they're a little bit of frauds? Like they're coming out. Remember the last time Kevin O'Connell won a bunch of 1-score games? They fell apart. So I'm curious what happens. I think they fall apart, but that's how I have at 9. 8 Chargers. You said it best. Jim Harbaugh, elite coach. They're playing well. They beat the Falcons and forced 3-4 turnovers to Kirk Cousins. Their defense is playing a lot better. Khalil Mack's back, and he's still playing really well. So I have them at 8. 7, I have the Ravens. I get they're coming off a loss, but I do give them a lot of credit for the win over the Chargers still. It's still a really good team. And I get they don't have – Mark Andrews playing a lot better, but they don't have consistent guys on the outside that you can really trust. I mean, Zay Flowers seems to have great games and doesn't. So, and the defense, like I get that as well. But their secondary, I will say, Saquon Barkley balled out, but Jalen Hurts didn't beat him with his arm. And I know it's Jalen Hurts, but it looked a little better with Cal Hamilton. I saw they made some adjustments. They look a tiny bit better. So we'll see what happens with the Ravens moving forward. 6, I have the Green Bay Packers. I could argue they're up there. They could even argue past the Steelers. I know the Steelers just beat the Bengals, but the Green Bay Packers are playing great. Like Dusty brought up yesterday, their only 3 losses are to really good teams like Eagles, Lions, and Vikings. Like those are the 3 losses for the Packers. So it's kind of crazy to think about. 5 Steelers, similar to the Packers, playing great, come off a big win. Defenses gave up a ton of yards, but again, it's the Bengals, Joe Burrow, so I can't fault them too much. 4, I have the Chiefs. Yeah, it's kind of I put them there. They fall. I was a huge Chiefs guy in terms of them being one of the best teams in the league, defending them. I finally kind of admitted Klotzy.
You're kind of coming down to Klotzy range.
They're not. Yeah, they have a lot of things to figure out for sure.
Can I throw something out there with this Ravens thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to fight you too much on it, to be honest.
I get the point, like especially the last few weeks, it's been closer. But like even with the Ravens, like the Ravens have won 8 games, Vikings 10, right? Like, or was it 10 or 11?
I'm
10.
sorry.
Yeah. So it's 8, basically 8 wins to 10 wins. If you look at 1 possession games, like 7 out of the 10 Vikings wins. So you have 3 that aren't. 7 out of the 10 are 1 possession games, and then Baltimore, 5 of their 8 are 1 possession. So it's like they both have 3 wins that aren't, and it's essentially the same, except Baltimore you're sitting with 5 more losses, and like you could argue their worst losses. Like Minnesota, their only 2 losses are to the Rams, who are fighting for a division, and the Lions, who are the best team in the NFL right now. It's like one of the Vikings loss out of their 2 is your number 1 team, and then the Ravens, like they lost to the Chiefs, but dude, they lost to the Raiders. The Browns, like not a good Browns team, and then their other loss, you could say the Eagles and Steelers, who are also in your top 10.
Yeah,
like two tough losses.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight you. 7, 8, 9 to me is close. Like that's how I look at it. I know you'd say the Vikings are clear better.
Yeah,
I think it's close. So
I'll be interested to see like the Vikings play. Like we got to see Baltimore versus the Chiefs and also versus the Steelers and versus the Eagles, and they're 0-3 in those games. So like they played 3 of your top 5 teams, and they're 0-3 of your in the top 5. That's why I almost want to even drop the Ravens lower in my list, because now looking at it, dude, they've played 3 top 5 teams and they have not won one of those.
The Broncos technically haven't really beaten anyone good either, but they're still playing well. So
neither have the Vikings though either. Like they haven't really. That's why I'm interested to see like them versus the Eagles or versus the Chiefs.
So that's my top 10. We all we all agree with most of them. Eagles, we agree better than the Chiefs right now, but
yeah,
we'll see. I think there's only to win a championship. I think there's only 4 teams capable, on this list.
I agree.
I think it's Lions, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. I don't look at the Steelers as legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I'm sorry, I just don't.
Yeah, especially for like Buffalo. I could see him
Yeah.
upsetting Kansas City, but to your point, like meeting in an AFC Championship game against Buffalo, I don't know if they could do it. Even if they'd have a tough time if they matched up against Baltimore if they somehow won, just because divisional game. Justin Tucker could have, if he made one more field goal, they walk out of there with a W. But I like the Steelers a lot.
They could get put in a situation in the AFC to where it's like a random team knocks out, like they only have to beat like the Chiefs, and like a random team knocks out the Bills. Like say like the Bills and Ravens go up against each, I don't know, and then the Steelers they end up somehow, some way matched up against the Ravens or something. And they're like, I would be way more confident in the Steelers in an AFC Championship game than the Ravens personally.
Especially with Russ. That's where Russ is going to be valuable.
Yeah. So I do think like they're not Super Bowl contenders, like where I'm confident, but I would put them on the brink to where it's like they're almost in the spot to where they could sneak in. And
I think they're in the Packers tier. Like the Packers are like a team where it's like, could they? Yeah. Like I think.
Would you be shocked?
No, I would. Yeah.
The Steelers, if the Steelers just somehow managed to keep Deontay Johnson, they'd be very good. Or if they just had another wide receiver.
Deontay's a little. That dude. No way. Ravens.
Look at what he was doing. The Ravens don't have a consistent wide receiver.
Calvin Austin
numbers in Carolina.
I wasn't that big on Deontay. I used to be, and then
Calvin Austin, very Memphis Tiger, like Calvin.
Better than Deontay right now.
Deontay Johnson fell off very quick. Like that was like what's going on.
Got Mike Williams, George Pickens, two outside guys, and their little slot.
Need somebody on the
I do agree though with Klotz. They could use another wide receiver. Klotz, if you used any wide receiver besides Deontay Johnson,
you guys are hating on Deontay. He's
dude. He hasn't.
Kansas City would love to have Deontay Johnson right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City could add any wide receiver, and they would like.
He's a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver, or he's a high-end wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2.
The Chiefs.
I mean,
the Chiefs.
Am I looking at this
career, so they can do anything. I mean,
am I looking at this right? He's played 4 games with Baltimore and has 6 total yards.
Yeah, like they just, bro, but like that's
Deontay Johnson.
Lamar's leading the league in passing too. Hold on, sorry.
Crazy.
I don't like. What do you guys expect him to do though? Like he's not going to be on the outside where Rashad Bateman is, and they have Nelson Aguilar, who's already knows the system. And
again, if he's as good as you think he is, they would be using him more. He's just not.
I think that he's just not in a position where he's meant to succeed. Like look at what he's doing.
He's that good.
Last year in Carolina. Like if we want to talk about Josh Reynolds, 600 yards.
Well, Carolina, I'll give you.
Like what? Like you play with like what do you? Now
but like Klotz again, like just to the point, like if he was as good as you're saying, they would be like, we're putting him in over Rashad Bateman.
If he was in Pittsburgh, he'd have 700 yards this year. That's what they need.
All right, let's move on. We got some mailbag. So Deontay, see, we can argue about Deontay for 10 minutes, man.
Toledo Rocket, don't play.
Bono Lies says mailbag. Who is offensive rookie right now in your opinion? Great question.
Probably Jaden Daniels still.
Jeff's gonna be appalled.
You could say Bo Nix, but I think Jaden Daniels. If you even look at the odds,
look at the odds because I think it's
Jaden Daniels by he's like minus 300.
Bo Nix, what is he?
He
plus
nuked
like
the
200.
I
mean, Jaden Daniels got off to such a hot start to where it's like someone's going to need to really
I think Brock Bowers is up there too.
He's plus 1,000. He's plus 1,000.
Yeah, but he might get 1,000, which is crazy.
I mean, dude, Sam Laporta almost had 1,000 last year, and he wasn't considered in it.
Get 1,000,
but Sam Laporta was like 100 short, and like no one even talked about it.
Hey, Brock Bowers is having a better rookie year than Sam Laporta.
100%. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not. Guys, time out. You guys relax. I'm not saying he's not. Brock Bowers is one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now. What I'm saying though is like, as a tight end to win that award over quarterbacks, like you probably have to go for like 1,200. And then I know that's crazy, but like, dude, just because you get 1,000, like Sam was at what 850, and there was not even a talk of a conversation, and he had 10 touchdowns. There wasn't even like a peep of a conversation.
He might have the argument. He might break the receiving in a rookie season for a tight end record.
That's good.
Like
good.
Sam didn't break it. He has like
some
of that narrative.
Dude,
but
Brock Bowers
to get it over a quarterback.
Fourth in the league in and I agree with you when he's not going to win, but it's just he's fourth in the league in just receiving.
Fourth in catches.
He has 884 yards. Like he's probably going to get 1,000 within the next 2 weeks.
I would say, okay, to answer the question, who's offensive rookie of the year right now? Give me Bo Nix.
He's plus 250.
He's doing fuck the odds. He's doing a great job. he's doing a great job with less. With less. So
how could he? That defense.
The defense, yes. But I'm talking about producing with less. Like Dude,
That
I didn't
voice,
even
bro.
know who Valet, Valet,
Devon Valet?
Valet or Valet, like the car. Like what?
Vele. It's
Vele.
VELE,
That's
not
his number 2
VALET.
receiver, dude. That's his number 2.
That looks like
He's
a
good.
Juwan Jennings out there in Denver right now. Don't
well,
sleep.
Even
Marvin
Courtland
Mims,
Sutton, he's not
very
Terry
fine.
McLaurin. He's not Terry McLaurin. Courtland Sutton.
Chase McLaughlin, you watch him last night? No, hey,
No,
Bo Nix,
I don't know if Jeff
I'm
watched.
taking Jaden Daniels, but give me.
Oh, the
But I
running
don't
back.
hate Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is playing really well. He has a chance over the next 5 weeks. He has a chance to go out there and make a case for himself. And just like Jane Daniels has put up so many numbers and done so much to where it's like you need him to also play bad and you need to play incredible to kind of
And he's got the
Still
rushing, which Bo's running a little
Yeah.
bit, but he's got the rushing in. For
not like Jaden.
No, not like Jaden. All right, we got. I thought we saw one more. Diggity Dog mailbag. Any thoughts that maybe our hard-nosed, violent defense has come back to haunt us with injuries, beating up on other teams to have a toll? Has to have a toll somehow. No,
I mean,
I mean,
definitely, but it's the nature of the game.
It
They were
is,
playing
yeah.
that way last year.
yeah, I
We
get
went
your
to-
point, Diggity Dog, but I would say no. Not with it's just how they're going to play regardless, and they've won all these games doing it. So I can't argue. It's like it's hurting them playing that way. What do you want them to play like? You know what I mean? Like,
Slow down out there. Don't go 100%.
yeah.
Go 75. We need you all year. No. I see what he's saying. I see the point though.
Hey, Detroit Sports T, Bo Nix, fellow Bo Nix offensive rookie of the year guy. That's the only one I saw.
Start the fan club. You'd be a great leader of that, Jeff.
He says Bowers is barely playing tight end. Essentially, he's a wide receiver.
And he is like their offense, dude. They have literally no one. It's like let's just get the ball to Brock Bowers.
Aiden O'Connell passed for like 300 yards against the Chiefs. I think Brock had like $150. He had half of his yards, I'm pretty
It's
sure.
literally like it's actually like, and I don't want to take credit away from Brock because he's like to do that anyway. It's incredible. But like when you are like the only weapon on your team,
Amir Abdullah's taking handoffs there right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
like there is that
Oh,
does
he's
take
right
away-
back.
It's the same argument, Jeff, of like Bo Nix with he has no help and he's doing it. It's the same thing where it's like Brock is getting every single target. Like he's getting 20 targets a game.
That's true. Like he's getting the volume.
Every play is ran. It's like having a point guard where it's like he's the only one that can score. We're just going to run every play through him. He's going to average 35 a game.
Yeah,
But you're losing.
I think he's better than Sam Laporta. But to your argument, like Laporta got almost 1,000 with a 1,500-yard receiver next to him. So
And the 1,000-yard backs as well.
and that's true. The running back, probably because I was say he had golf, but that's the better argument. He had running backs, 2 guys with almost 1,000. So that's fair. All right, we'll get out of here.
I remember when we were at the draft or the combine though. You guys didn't even notice. We were like walking, and it just like Brock Bowers was walking with like next to me, and like he's like balding. He's like it felt like it was like my height.
Yeah, he looks.
I'm like, I think I could play with this guy. Like I was like, this is Brock Bowers. I'm like, there's no way. And I was like, boys, Brock Bowers, and the boys like didn't even notice him. He literally looks like me walking down the street, but just a balding Booner. It's the weirdest.
I mean,
wild.
Tyler's point is true. He's the only weapon. He's game planned against. That's true.
Well, yeah, but
He's the focal point of
everything
defense.
ran through him. So like they're running every play for him. So
But
they're gonna
teams are like,
get him
stop.
open.
Are
Stop
we just gonna disregard? He said that Brock Bowers looks like a balding Boone. That
That's
is the
what-
most disrespectful.
He
like-
looked so normal, dude. He did not look tall. Like I don't know if he's like 6'4". I don't know. He literally looked like he was like my height. He looked like my build, and he was just balding. I'm like, that's Brock Bowers.
My build is outrageous.
You guys didn't even notice him either.
I watched. I know. Remember, me and you were walking right next to each other, and then we saw.
That's
him.
just, he's a balding me, bro. and the picture doesn't even do it justice. Like when you
Bro,
just walk by,
his neck, like
Crazy.
That's not look at. That's a Davis
when you just
Mills.
walk side by side with him, and like he's like we're both in street clothes. I'm like walking next to him, and I'm like, this guy is my size. Like I'm Brock Bowers. He's just strong, and I'm not. Like and he's fast, and I'm not. Like we're the same build.
Yeah,
It was crazy. I was like, I think that's my twin.
Hey, Boone talking, and I'm listening to Brock and seeing if it matches.
It does match.
Oh, that's good.
Corey said, balding Brock Bowers Booner.
Love it.
crazy.
All right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow.
About to
Doc
catch a
will be on.
lawsuit
Doc
from
will be
that.
on tomorrow. Also, don't forget, I want to announce where we'll be at on Thursday. We'll be at the Hub. once again.
The
So
Hub.
the Hub out here, 21 Guard.
yes.
We're making
Yeah.
our return. We're gonna do our post game. It's nice because they're open later, so we can do our post game show as well. So it's gonna be a blast. Make your way out there, drink some real American beer with us.
Thursday night.
If you're just in Macomb County, come make the trip, watch the game with us. But until tomorrow, when the doc joins, we will catch you all.
Peace. Love you guys.
Fuck the Packers.